Conceive, believe, achieve. Shut the f*** up.
And new undisputed UFC middleweight champion of the world, Michael the Count Bisping.
This is Believe You Me on the Gas Digital Network.
We're back. Another episode of Believe You Me motherfucking podcast. What's up, Michael Bisping? How are you?
I'm very good, Lewis. How are you, my friend?
I'm in a great mood, actually.
Really?
It's the springtime. Finally, New York City, the cold, cold winter is over. I went on a nice little jog this morning for the first time in months.
Are you back on the Realized diet?
I'm back on the Realized diet officially as of today. You know what's funny? It's Harrington's birthday tomorrow. And he's here right now. But
okay,
Shannon,
what's that got to do with anything?
I'll tell you, because Shannon fucked up, and she told me that it was his birthday today. So I, being the generous person that I am, I said, hey, Harrington, go buy me a cupcake, because I'm hungry. It's my last day, which is not true, because I'm fucking dieting right now. But I gave him money to go buy a cupcake, and when he comes back with the cupcake, I'm going to give it to him for his birthday.
And did you eat it? Sorry, I was wrestling with this contraption here that's very loose. I think I need to invest in a new one. Over time, it has loosened the notches on it.
Loose contraption?
So what did I miss?
No, so it's Harrington's birthday tomorrow, so I sent him to get a cupcake. I told him it was for me, but when he comes back, I'm going to give it to him because it's his own cupcake.
Oh, I see. So he's buying his own birthday present.
Yeah, but it's early because...
Okay. Okay. All right. I see. I'm on a diet right now as well. You may have noticed. I mean, last week in Australia, I came back from Australia. I was a bloated mess. And when I say bloated mess, I really was. And in 1 week, I'm down 10 pounds already. So, yeah, so far, so good. You know, I was in MacGyver, and it aired on Friday night. And they say the camera adds, I don't know, how many pounds did they say the camera adds? 10. Well, it fucking certainly looked like it. I saw myself on MacGyver on Friday night. I was like, ooh, looking a little bloated, a bit puffy there. So,
do you get self-conscious?
I'm done with alcohol. I'm not drinking for 2 months.
I don't believe a word you say. In fact, you're probably drinking alcohol in that cup right now.
No, I swear to God, because my diet is good and I exercise, but the alcohol, I mean, I'm not a big drinker, but still, if you have 2-3 glasses of wine in the evening whilst you're watching something, there's like 600 calories right before you go to bed. So, the alcohol, I'm cutting it out of my life. Well, I'm going to try anyway. I'm going to try. But as Jason Perillo says, it's a bloody good time.
Yeah,
so,
it really is. I'm back to drinking, and I've been drinking hard and heavy.
Really?
Yeah. I've been drinking whiskey.
Yeah, but what about the hangovers, Lewis?
I don't get hungover. I don't know. The reason I stopped drinking had nothing to do with the amount of it wasn't a problem when I would get drunk. I'd never be violent or angry or loud or aggressive. I get drunk to the point where I'm like, all right, it's time to go to sleep. Then I go home and I go to sleep. And I wake up the next day at 9 a.m. and I'm fine. Simple.
What about the weird little mustache you got going on? Is that because of the drinking?
I'm trying to compete with you. You're very manly on the show, you know. And
yeah, but you look very, you're looking like a Puerto Rican rattlesnake.
I really do. You know what it is? Here's the funny part.
You've got a weird half tash going on. For those people that aren't watching the video one, you've just got a weird half mustache. It doesn't become you, Lewis. I'm just going to throw it out there.
No matter how hard I try, I can't grow the full beard. It doesn't connect. It's just scraggly, Mexican-y, Puerto Rican fucking shitty hair on my cheeks.
This is as good as my beard gets. As much as I try because my wife likes beards. I think most women like a decent beard. But, I can't grow. You know, like a real, like the guy Leonidas from 300, that style beard. I couldn't do that if my life depended on it. If I let it grow out, it just becomes straggly and weird and scruffy, and I look homeless.
Yeah, I can't do it at all either. It's just it's in my genes. But I am trying to get back in shape now. I'm officially, this is the truth. It's official. I can't talk about the date yet. But I am taking my first mixed martial arts fight in my life. Full contact, MMA rules. I'm going to be fighting at Ellis Mania this summer.
No. Come on, Lewis.
Do you know Jason Ellis?
I know who Jason Ellis is. Yeah, he has a show on Sirius XM. He's had a couple of MMA fights over the years, correct?
Yeah, he has.
I don't know him. I've heard him on the Howard Stern show. I know him to say hi to. I think I've went on his show very briefly before. So, I know who he is. And so you're fighting him or you're fighting on his show? I'm
fighting on something called Ellis Mania. And what they do is basically every year, This is the 15th one. They have like MMA fights, and I know Jason Ellis. He's fought like 2 or 3. I guess it was like I don't know. They do like silly shit. So sometimes it'll be like one dude with his hand tied with his arm behind his back, and then
basically they mock MMA, which is great, which is good because it's not a sport that should be mocked. People can lose. They can get all kinds of injuries. They can lose fucking eyeballs. They can look a mess, you know. But here's you. Yeah, you want to go in there and mock what we do. Thanks, Lewis. I appreciate
well,
that.
It's not mocking. I'm not competing against a fighter. I'm competing as another comic. So it's 2 guys who are supposed to have a similar skill set, and we're going to fight each other. The guy's name is Ryan O'Neal. He's from a show called Danish and O'Neal, which is a podcast. And
okay.
I sent you some video.
I've seen it. Why have I seen that? Is it pretty well known?
I think it's a pretty decently known podcast.
Yeah, I think I've seen it. Yeah, Danish and O'Neal.
Yeah,
right.
so he seems like a nice enough guy. But fans started tweeting at both of us, and they suggested that we fight each other at Ellis Mania, and I'm just fucking game. The reality is, as a dude, right? I mean, we've all been into dumb little fistfights and scuffles and all this other shit, but I want to see what I could do if I put my mind to it, put my body to it, went through a training camp, and tried to fight another guy, and just to really test myself. The same way that people play pickup basketball, I think there's something very intriguing about it, and I kind of want to just test myself that way.
Yeah, for sure. I get that. There is something very animalistic, and I think men at the real core of being a man, you know, they kind of want to test themselves against another man, as you say. And sometimes it's just fun. It's fun getting it. If you know you're not going to get too hurt and there's a referee looking over it, I enjoy it. I enjoy it. My favorite thing about getting ready for a fight is the sparring. That's why, you know, I'm always pretty well conditioned, because one of the hardest parts about getting ready for a fight, conditioning-wise, is the sparring. And I love to spar. I spar nearly every day. I shouldn't, but, you know, obviously you get injured and, you know, brain injuries and brain cells, all that type of stuff, you know. But still, I love it. I enjoy it. That's why I do it. That's why I became a fighter. A, because I was good at it, and B, because I just fucking enjoyed it. So this guy, you tell me, you were saying before off air, you got some video. Can we take a look at this guy?
Yeah, pull the video. I just sent Shannon the video of this guy, Ryan O'Neal, and apparently he has some martial arts experience. I don't know. I think he's tall. I got to find out more information on the guy. But he's done apparently 20 years of Taekwondo. 20 years of Taekwondo. And this is a little bit of video that I guess he has on YouTube. Here, we're going to pull it up for the fans to take a look. And he's just fucking around with his buddy.
Okay, so which is our guy?
So the tall guy that's choking the other guy is the guy that I'm going to be fighting.
That's abusing what looks to be a homeless man.
It's his Harrington.
It's his Harrington. Okay. All right. So that was an attempt at a guillotine choke.
Yeah, let's
okay.
see.
Physically, he doesn't look like much, but neither do you. Okay. So you're on a par there. Okay. Now, he has not done 20 years of Taekwondo. Looking at that, just the way he moves. Look at that. No, terrible leg kick. Oh, and then he throws the punch at the same time of the leg kick. He has not got a clue what he's doing. What else?
So that's it.
Oh, you know what? The little front snap kick to the body looked like he had decent technique and he's taking his time. Let's have a look. He's got some hands like the but the punches.
Can I tell you what he does with his knees? This is when you know somebody knows a little bit. Rewind it a little bit, Shannon, for the knees. He pushes the knees out. Like I've taken like a couple classes, like Muay Thai classes. The way he throws the knee, where it's not just coming out, or it's not coming straight up. He kind of pushes it out. He throws a knee like he's thrown a knee before.
Yeah, sure. I'll give you that. He certainly does look like he's doing a little Thai bow class or cardio kickboxing class down at the local UFC gym. You know, pretty sure my wife, you know, it could do that in a heartbeat, Lewis. You know, and I would fully expect you to batter my wife. No, love you, babe. If she's lurking.
Oh my God, I would annihilate. I would annihilate Rebecca Bisping. She'd have no chance.
Yeah. And I'd fully expect it. But she goes to these shitty little classes, not shitty little classes, they're very, very good classes. But she goes to these classes, you know, and they might, you know, replicate throwing a knee sometimes, and they could throw it with the same technique as your guy just did. All right, okay. All right.
You see the picture I sent too?
With this fight, is this going to be like, you know, are you in camp?
Shannon, pull up the picture as well. Well, not officially in camp yet. I got to find out what I'm going to do. Here's what I realized, and you can give me some advice on this.
Is there a weight limit you're going to fight at?
I think we're going to look at doing something around 200 pounds, 195.
You right now?
235.
Ooh, 235, Lewis. What the fuck happened?
I got a girlfriend.
Who's this guy?
This is the same guy.
Danish and
O'Neal.
Danish and O'Neal.
This is him doing a fucking kick when he's a kid.
You know, I've talked about some of these dickheads on here before. Do you know what I mean? He is not going to pull that off in the UFC or in a cage, and if he did, he's going to land flat on his ass and look like an idiot. You know?
I'm going to punch him in his cock. If he did that, I would uppercut him in his ball bag.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Against like a trained MMA fighter, he might not be able to pull that off.
Yeah.
Against the Luis J. Gomez, he might be able to.
You have no fucking faith.
With the greatest of respect.
Michael Bisping, here's what I'm asking you. Okay, number one, do you think I have any chance of beating this guy?
Let's fly out to New York and train you for the fight. Okay, sorry, Beck. I've got to spend 6 weeks in New York. I apologize. I'm coming. I'm on my way. Pay for my hotel and flight, first class. I'll be there. Thank you.
That's not what I'm saying.
Don't worry about it.
I'm saying two things. Number one, do you think I have a chance of beating a guy with that much martial arts experience? I think I look like a tougher guy. I think I'm going to be a tougher human being than him.
Definitely look like a guy. You're definitely more criminal. That's for sure. If there was somebody coming through an airport and I wanted to find drugs on somebody, you would be the one I'd pick.
Oh, and I'd have him.
You know, does that mean you'll win an MMA fight? Not necessarily. I'd say that you look tougher than Rory McDonald.
Oh, yeah.
Rory McDonald would mess you up pretty good.
That's also true. That's a very good point. So looks are deceiving. But looking at the way that he fights, do you think that that is a dangerous fight that I should take? Should I be afraid of his skill level?
No, do not be afraid. Do not be afraid. Be afraid of what can happen, though, because those knees, as you said, look like they've been thrown. And, you know, kneeing somebody in the face is a very, very dangerous thing to have happen to you. I've been kneed in the face of the great Anderson Silva. That opened up my face pretty well. I got some nice new scars from that one all over my face.
All right, real quick, let's talk about Dollar Shave Club, which is just incredible. Here's the thing. Everyone knows Dollar Shave Club. They have incredible razors. My girlfriend, this is the funniest thing of all, she stole my Dollar Shave Club razor and just became a member with our promo code because she said it's the best razor she's ever used in her entire life. She doesn't even know if they have female razors. We got to look that up if they have female razors too, Shannon, because she specifically got mine and now she's like, fuck that, I'm just doing Dollar Shave Club. So the razors are incredible. Everyone knows that. But they have a lot of other stuff, dude. They got shampoo, conditioner, body wash, toothpaste, hair gel. Everything that you need to make, you know, to groom yourself, make yourself feel and look good. And the quality of all of the stuff is incredible. Michael, I know that they sent you a little care package. You've been using it as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm a huge fan. This sounds a little surprising maybe to some people. I'm a huge fan of their Amber and Lavender Calming Body Cleanser, believe it or not. It smells very good. And as you say about the razors, very smooth. I don't use razors, but I use them on my neck, you know, a little bit down here. You know, a lot of the time I get like a bit of a rash afterwards. And, yeah, not with those. They're so sharp. They're fantastic. So here's how you guys can get involved. Dollar Shave Club. And they do a massive range of products. You name it, these guys do it. For just $5, you can get their daily essentials starter set. It comes with body cleanser, one wipe Charlie's, their amazing butt wipes, their world famous shave butter, and the best razor, the 6-blade executive. Keep the blades coming for a few more bucks a month and add in shampoo, toothpaste, or anything you need. Check it out, dollarshaveclub.com/believe. That's dollarshaveclub.com/believe.
And we should mention also, once you're a member, shipping is always free. So that's a lot of times things sound cheap and then they get you in shipping.
They get you at the checkout.
There you go.
They get you at the gift shop on the way out. They get you with the shipping. They give you the most expensive one. You're right. It's absolutely free. So, yeah, dollarshaveclub.com/believe. Get involved. Get, you know, smooth. Get nice and fragrant.
Get sexy.
Get involved.
Get sexy. Yeah.
Get sexy.
All right, let's get back into it.
At the weekend, there was an event, Cage Warriors Fighting Championships, which I'm the champion of. Well, I used to be. I've got the belt in the background here. Defended it 3 times.
Did you ever lose it?
No, never lost. Defended the belt 3 times. So
you are technically still the champion. You're still active today. You never lost the belt. Whoever their champion is the paper champion.
Paper champ. I am the light heavyweight Cage Warriors champion, going back 13 years, and whoever is the champ right now, I'm telling you right now, whoever you are, Google it, you're a goddamn pussy. You're a goddamn pussy. You never called me out. You never fought me for the belt. Paper champ. Anyway, at the weekend, somebody got kneed in the face at Cage Warriors, and it's doing the rounds on the internet. I've sent you the link. Shannon, show everybody, show Lewis. This is what a knee to the face can do to you.
Let's see.
It's disgusting. Look at that.
Let's see. Oh, my fucking God.
It's hard to look at. Oh, I mean, that is down to the skull.
I'm gonna be honest with you.
Right there.
Ooh.
Oh,
It looks like a pussy.
Jesus Christ, it's really hard to look at. I mean, stop pulling it like that. My God.
God damn it, dude. That's a brutal, brutal cut right there. Have you ever had anything that bad?
Not that bad. I've had some pretty good cuts. As I say, Anderson Silva opened me up pretty well with that knee. The knees are always the ones that do it. Knees and elbows, they're the ones that cut because it's bone on bone. That's why if you clash heads in the gym, if you're sparring, you always want to wear headgear because, if you clash heads, you're gonna get a cut.
Well,
it's the bone on bone, and that's what happens there. When you get kneed in the face, obviously that hit his eyebrow, and the bone on the kneecap and the patella hits it, boom, opens it up. Always happens in training, funnily enough. Most of my cuts happened in training. But, Lewis, that's what you could be signing up for, my friend.
We're going to be wearing headgear in the fight, so I don't have to worry about that. I think that's the we're going to wear headgear.
Quiet. You didn't mention that to the end, did you? I thought you were a real-ass dude.
Well, I mean, come on. We're not going to wear headgear? I mean, I guess. I don't really give a shit. I'd go without headgear.
What is this? Are you having a professional MMA fight, amateur, semi-rules, semi-professional?
We haven't worked out the details yet. All I know is that I started jogging this morning. I'm fucking back into it. And I have to get. Here's my concept. And tell me if.
How long did you jog? How long?
I did a half an hour. It was my first day back.
Half an hour is good.
Uphill.
You don't need to do more than that. I mean, this is what people do all the time. They overdo it. How long's the fight?
I think there'll probably be 3 5-minute rounds if I had to guess.
Really? I mean, if it's not professional, I would have thought 3 3-minute rounds with headgear on. Maybe even 3 2-minute rounds for a couple of pussies like you. So. You don't need to run. I mean, if you want to lose weight and you've got to lose the weight, then fair enough. That's when you've got to put the time in. But if you're going to do 3 5-minute rounds, let's just use that as an example, that's only 15 minutes. So you want to put in as much effort as you can, pardon me, for 15 minutes. Makes sense, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, go on. So you ran this morning and?
Well, here's my concept, okay? Because no matter how, I don't have any martial arts experience, and I'm not going to be able to get into a gym. If I go into an MMA school right now and just take classes, I'm not going to learn anything that's going to be of value in a fight that's going to be within the next few months, right? So, the same...
Incorrect.
Okay, well...
You're saying... hold on. I do listen to what you say, but did you just say, so there's no point doing any martial arts training for this
That's
fight?
not what I said.
The fight's in a few months, and you're not going to learn anything.
I said it's pointless to go into an MMA school and just join a class right now, because in that time, I'm not going to learn anything in just a class. What I think I need to do is I need to go in and I need to start sparring, and I need to start working with somebody who really understands fighting, and specifically work on things that I know how to do and things to kind of avoid, and learn how to fight a little more defensively, and also get used to being punched in the face and get used to trying to punch somebody in the face. Because I think if I just do a regular class, I'm just a fucking beginner in a class, and I'm just, doing kicks into a bag over and over again. That's going to help you. It's not going to help at all.
No. But that's if you went to like a very soft MMA style environment, like a corporate environment. If you go to where Matt Serra trains, his gym, the Serra Longo Academy, is it, or the Weidman Longo Academy? I mean, they're in Long Island. You go there, you're gonna roll, you're gonna spar, you're gonna do all that type of stuff. Everything you just said. I mean, I've never trained there, but I'm assuming if you go to a legit MMA academy, an MMA professional team, and say, I've got a fight coming up soon, I'm willing to pay the membership, whatever it is, for a few months, and I want to train. That's precisely what you'll get, and that's precisely what you need.
So they'll actually...
The main thing that people don't realize is that when they get into a fighting environment, real life, and someone's swinging back at you, everything changes. You can look at all these videos on YouTube, and you can replicate situations. You can do this, and you work with your trainer, and you can work with your pad man, and they can hold pads for you, and it makes these impressive noises, and you think, yeah, I've got this. This is awesome. But then when you're stood in there with another human being, right, who's also moving around, who's being elusive, who's trying not to get hit and trying to hit you, everything changes, and even just the simplest of things like breathing, people forget to breathe. It's crazy. Even guys in the UFC, you'll see them, they'll go out there and they get tired and they'll say, oh, I have no idea why I got so tired. Maybe it was the adrenaline dump. A lot of the time, people forget to breathe because they tense up. They hold the breath. Sometimes they close their eyes when they swing because they're like, what's going to happen? And a lot of the time they forget to breathe. So they're doing physical output, but they're not even breathing, which is the most basic of human requirements, but they forget to breathe because they're so nervous. So you need to put yourself in that environment and get used to that environment.
So, well, yeah, I mean, you're talking about breathing. That's something that one of the first things I learned with working out in general. I'd be lifting weights and I'd hold my breath as I'm pushing. And what happens is you're not getting oxygen into your body. You're not getting oxygen into your muscles. And it's a weird thing. It's just an instinct that you have until you're conscious of it. Yeah. You don't even do it. You know, and it's something you have to literally remind yourself of. If you want to stand on one foot, that's a trick as well. People have like bad balance because they hold their breath when you're trying to balance on one foot. It's like I learned that when I was younger as well. So I think you're right about that. So give me your one bit of advice right now because we got to move on. I want to talk about Bellator.
Yeah, no, for sure, because you're boring me to death as well. So
Thank you.
I apologize to the listeners, Lewis, and his narcissistic tendencies. We apologize. We apologize. One piece of advice: get yourself in shape. There you go. There you go. How long you got for the fight?
At least 3 months. Can't tell the date yet. At least 3 months.
Dude, you got plenty of time. You got bags of time. Get in shape because if you run out of gas, you're fucked. Yeah. Okay, simple as that. That is the main thing. The fitter guy can beat an unfit guy if he's in shape.
And his stand-up technique did not look dangerous enough that you don't think that I'll be able to just fucking get in there.
Just swing it. Just close your eyes and swing. Don't breathe. You know, whatever you do, don't breathe, close your eyes, swing, hope for the best. That's all we do. There's no art to it. It's not like I did martial arts for 31 years to get to this point. It's fine. Lewis, anybody can do it, okay? You see it on TV. All you got to do, get some bad tattoos, get a mohawk, you know, start calling everyone bro, right? And like fucking have
I'm there, dude.
A chip on your shoulder. You're a fucking MMA fighter, bro. Get some tap-out shorts. You're
nail
ahead
polish.
of the game. This time next year, world champion. Simple as that. I'm proud of you, Lewis. I'm fucking proud of you.
The Cage Warriors light heavyweight champion is Carl Moore. Carl Moore.
Well, you never took it off me, Carl. So you're a punk bitch.
You hear that, Carl Moore? Michael Bisping wants to come back. You should just go fight him. That should be your retirement fight, Carl Moore.
My retirement fight, Cage Warriors. Yeah, back to where it all started. Back to the good old days. Anyway, let's talk about some fights that really did happen, and that Carl Moore, keep up the good work, by the way. Fights that did happen. Bellator at the weekend. UFC, what the fuck? Bit of a break in the UFC program at the moment, so we're going to break down at the weekend. We did tell everybody to bet on Frank Mir, I believe.
No, we didn't.
Did you?
No, we edited that entire segment out of last week's show.
Did?
So we're going to just pretend that never happened. We didn't tell you to bet $1,000 on Frank Mir because there's no way that he's losing this fight.
Is that what I said?
Oh, my God.
Yeah. All right. Okay. All right. Well, whatever. You know, that's the thing with the MMA guys. That's why I don't bet unless I'm on betdsi.com. You know, promo code 25. See, the thing is, MMA, you just never know. And Fedor Emelianenko, he's one of those guys that can knock anybody out at any time. Remember back in the day at Affliction, I don't know if you saw that. He fought Andrei Arlovsky.
Oh,
Andrei Arlovsky was beating the shit out of him. He was just a bigger guy. He was faster. He was trained by Freddie Roach. His boxing was on point. And then for some reason, Arlovsky decided to throw a flying knee, and Fedor just threw overhand right, knocked him out cold.
It was also really stupid. It wasn't just a flying knee. It was like he bounced off the corner of the fucking ring and then jumped out. It was so bizarre, and it was weirdly telegraphed. And you just saw like the look in Fedor's eyes. He was like, "Oh, I'm gonna punch his fucking head off right now." And he knocked him out of the air. Andrei Arlovsky was in the middle of the air, and Fedor, it was a looping, I think it was an overhand right, and it just hit him so squarely on the chin, and that was it. That was the moment that I was like, ah, shit, dude. God damn it. Andrei Arlovsky was never as good as we thought he was, and it was such a sad moment.
In Strikeforce back in the day, Brett Rogers, remember that one?
Yeah. Yeah, they thought he was going to be the next big thing, the Predator.
Yeah, Brett Rogers was beating the shit out of Fedor, had him all over the place. I think knocked him down a couple of times. Boom, one shot, Fedor. That was it. Fight started. Frank Mir looked good, dropped him, back to the feet. Fedor does a nice little hip toss, throws him down, nice little hip throw there, foot sweep. Yeah, it was good. I mean, it was 48 seconds long. Now we've got to watch Fedor versus Chael Sonnen. So that should be fun. That should be good.
That's a really tough fight.
Chael Sonnen does not hold anything back. You would think that somebody as stoic and respectful as Fedor, Chael might pull it back a little bit and not talk shit.
What did he say?
I don't know if he said anything yet. Well, he put a picture on the other day. The greatest heavyweight ever and Fedor Emelianenko. It was a picture of the pair of them squaring up against each other.
Hilarious.
But Chael's going to talk mad shit.
Of course, as he should, and he'll sell that fight. And it's a really interesting fight. It's an exciting fight. I think that's a very, very, very tough fight for Chael. It's
for sure, absolutely. Absolutely. I don't think Chael is going to out wrestle Fedor. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but I just don't see it going like that. And on the feet, as we just said, Fedor only needs one punch to knock out the majority of people on planet Earth.
Well, it seems like anytime
next week, it's game over.
Anytime somebody tries to make it like a brawl with Fedor, this is what happens. Anytime somebody kind of like starts to just throw heat and gets into those crazy exchanges, like Frank Mir was getting the better of him. He hit him a bunch. And just boom, like that, Fedor will clip you, and he's got that power. It's such a bizarre thing because he doesn't look like he's a guy that's super athletic. Even the way that he kind of like punches.
He definitely doesn't look super athletic. Even more so at the weekend. His belly was definitely, when I said George St. Pierre was impregnated by aliens, Fedor was definitely on the same diet. His belly was it was in full effect. And God bless him. God bless Fedor for walking out there in those tiny little tight shorts with a massive belly and the love handles. But boom, get the job done. And those Russians don't give a fuck. You know what I mean? That looks very manly for them. They like to look like a bear, very barrel-esque.
Yeah, he wants to eat some pierogies, drink some beer. Why not, dude? If you don't look, he never had to get down to light heavy. He could have easily. That's always been the thing about Fedor. His physique. I mean, it looks like he could not even. It looks like he doesn't even need to really train that hard to get down to light heavy. If he just dieted a little bit and then cut the weight, he was walking around like 235, I believe. He'd come into fights 236. Yeah. So he's not even a huge heavyweight or anything. But yeah, kind of sad. Frank Mir. Look, that's the thing about Fedor is
Frank Mir. Hold on, you just said a moment ago Frank Mir was getting the better of him. To be honest, the fight, if I'm not mistaken, was either 38 or 48 seconds long.
48.
So you can't really say he was getting the better of him. The fight was over before it even started. What you mean by that is that he landed one punch and Fedor went down for a second. He had a mere bit of success, pardon the pun. Frank Mir had a mere bit of success for about 3 seconds. That was it. He landed one good shot, and then he got knocked out cold, face down, ass up, and the canvas. Now, no disrespect, both guys went at it, and that's what I love about that. When two big heavyweights like that decide, listen, here's what's going to go down. We're just going to throw punches. We're going to go for it. We're going to fight. We're going to get in each other's face. It's awesome. It's energetic. It's what people love. It's animalistic. And that was the great thing about that fight. It was all-out violence, 48 seconds. Didn't last very long. But if two heavyweights fight that way, that's how it's going to end, because both of them could knock anybody out, as we saw. Frank Mir knocked him down. They carried on. They fought the same way. And then Fedor landed the knockout shot. Yeah. So, good performance.
I just watched it again.
Looking forward to seeing him and Chael.
Yeah, look, I'm excited about seeing that fight, too. You got to give Frank Mir a little bit of credit, though. He came out and fought probably the terrible style to fight that fight, and he still did have some success in it. Frank Mir, I think if he would have been a little bit more dedicated to just getting him in the clinch, pushing him up against the cage, dirty boxing him, he could have used his size to go into like a firefight with a guy who just he's that dude who knocks people out. If there was probably a bad plan.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Did you see the other?
Did you see earlier on in the card they had a guy that's been, I've got, got to keep it real. A guy that's been bothering me for quite some time, Dylan Danis, making his professional MMA debut. Now, I don't know Dylan Danis. Apparently, he's a hot shot from the jiu-jitsu world. And, if he is, then good for him. Apparently, he's one of the best in the world, which is amazing, which is incredible. Obviously, it has a lot of skill. But jiu-jitsu and MMA are two very, very different things. And he's quite famously Conor McGregor's jiu-jitsu coach. And not only is he Conor McGregor's jiu-jitsu coach, he's seeming to try and morph and copy McGregor's antics, certainly his clothing. Although Conor does wear some fucking really nice, cool shit. And Dylan Danis is like the poor, second-hand, overwashed, hand-me-down version, because his clothes are fucking terrible, okay? But he's trying to be Conor so hard, it's laughable. And he even said at the weekend, after this weekend, I will own Bellator. That sounds vaguely like a line where Conor said, I will own boxing. So
it's also a little different. I mean, look, owning Bellator just isn't really that impressive of a thing. I will own.
It's like, so what? You own Bellator.
Come this weekend, I will own that laundromat.
Listen, he got the job done again. That was really quick. He got a toe hold at, like, I don't know, 90 seconds. So well done, well done. Can't hate too much, but it's just, God bless him. He's 1-0 against someone I'd never heard of.
Yeah, Kyle Walker. And I guess
Kyle Walker. It's like, come on, slow your roll, pal. God bless you. Well done. Good job. Excellent MMA debut against someone I've never heard of. But there's world-class fighters out there, buddy. So
I guess he was brought into McGregor's camp when he was rematching with Nate Diaz. He is, I guess he has IBJJF world titles, brown belt, and no-gi gold medals, blah, 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 black belt. So, yeah, he's the real deal when it comes to jiu-jitsu. But, we'll see. I don't know. Look, here's the thing. I think that we need more people that are at least trying. I'll stay consistent with this because I don't really know that much of his interviews. I know that he has been trying to talk shit the same way that McGregor does. But look, these guys, I think that's a part of the business now is to make a name for yourself, get some heat, get some eyes on you. I can't hate on a guy that's trying to do it.
No, for sure. No, agreed. Because people are talking about him, and normally when you make an MMA debut, you wouldn't be on the televised version of the main card, and you wouldn't attend the press conference afterwards. So what you said is absolutely right. Definitely making headlines. Doesn't mean that you can't find that person annoying, though, Lewis.
That's also true. Yeah.
Doesn't mean that he's not an irritating, annoying fuck. You know what I mean? That he's purely ripping off his teammate and friend.
Yeah.
Which again, fair enough. He looks at Conor, obviously looks up to him and respects him as he should, and he sees him and sees the success, the wild success that Conor's had, and he's like, shit, it worked for him. It's going to work for me. And of course, in this day and age of modern mixed martial arts, that is almost par for the course. You see guys like Colby Covington, trying to do the same thing as well, because it does generate headlines. And as I say, we're sitting here on this podcast discussing a guy that just made his MMA debut at the weekend that not realistically, I'll tell you for a fact, we wouldn't even know his name. So he is actually doing something right, but it does annoy me and get on my tits.
Well, and then how much is it due to the fact that he's making a name for himself and talking shit, or how much is it that he just has Conor McGregor shine because he's Conor McGregor's boy, and really anybody that would be in Conor's camp that is close to him that even tried a little bit, I feel like would probably be given an opportunity.
Those
are some big coattails.
At the end of the day, some big what? Some big coattails.
Yeah.
I thought he said cocktails. I said, who's drinking cocktails? At the end of the day, he is, by all accounts, a bit of a phenom in the jiu-jitsu world. Multiple-time world champion, if I'm not mistaken, something like that. So therefore, he has his own skill set, and there's a reason why he was brought into Conor's camp. So you got to give him credit for that. I'm just saying, with the clothes, with the talk, with everything, it's just a carbon copy of everything Conor does. But as I say, we're talking about him, so it's working. And he probably knows that this kind of behavior, as it did with me, encourages more people to want to see you get knocked out than win. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. I've got to stop saying at the end of the day. I feel like I've said it 5 times. At the end of the day, we're talking about him. Simple as that. So whatever he's doing, the bullshit that he's doing, the shit that he's spewing is working.
Do you have an issue with, because it seems like, because you've kind of said this about Colby Covington before, you've said it about a few other people. Do you sort of take issue with people that are kind of coming off disingenuous with the way that they talk shit, or the way that they're, where it seems contrived? Because that's, I think, the knock on Colby, maybe the knock on Dylan Dennis here, where it's like, it's just not real. They see what happens with Conor. They see the opportunities that he gets because of the way that he is, and they go, cool, I'm going to emulate that. And you're not that guy. You were sort of the first, one of the first guys that, had a villain role, or sort of the heel role in mixed martial arts. But you were always sort of, a pretty genuine dude. You just talk shit, and, the cameras caught what they caught. So do you kind of take issue with that fact?
I don't know, actually. I don't know if I do. I don't think that's what it is. I think with Colby Covington, you can clearly see that he's trying a little hard, but no doubt he is a prick. So maybe it's not an act. And for me, back in the day as well, I was certainly acting a certain way. I would speak a certain way. But that's because I was going to fight somebody, and if you're going to fight them, then it becomes personal. And this Dylan Dennis, I don't know. It was just annoying. You know, to hear somebody that hasn't made the pro MMA debut yet saying, after this weekend, I will own Bellator. You know, come on. That's annoying. I don't think many people look at that and go, this guy's awesome. Yeah. Awesome. Look at this confidence. It's incredible. You think, oh, God, give me a break. And Colby Covington, I don't think I'm the only one that's had enough of his shit. He went to some MMA fight at the weekend. I don't know what it was. And got into a fight with Charles Bennett. Is it Charles Bennett? Crazy Horse Bennett, but I think he's changed his name to Felony. Charles Bennett back in the day used to fight in Pride all over the place. Wild Man, Wild Horse or something. You know what I'm on about, right, Lewis?
Yeah, Crazy Horse Charles Bennett. Yeah, he's fucking psychotic.
Yeah, there you go.
He's a guy who, like, you know, has gotten arrested like 40 times. There's like you can look at videos of, like, you know, 30 or 40 different mugshots when he's been arrested, and he's gotten into a bunch of altercations outside of the cage as well. There's a famous story about him and Vanderlei Silva back in the day at Pride.
Yeah, no, I've seen that in Pride. The backstage in the locker room. And the reason we're talking about this, everybody, by the way, is that he got into a fight with Colby Covington, which we'll show the video in just a second. But yeah, backstage at Pride, Vanderlei was talking shit, and this guy, he's only a lightweight, he's only a skinny little dude, but God bless him, he does not take no shit from no one. Yeah. And he just got into a massive brawl with Vanderlei, and then all the people started kicking in. Big fight backstage in the locker room, which, pretty legendary. Let's roll the tape of what happened at the weekend. There wasn't much, really. It was a little bit of a shitty punch, but still, whatever. As I say, I think Colby Covington is annoying people.
Yeah. Here, Shannon, do you have the video? Yeah, she's pulling it up right now. Yeah, I mean, look, Crazy Horse Bennett, it's like, I don't even, in a weird way, like, I kind of said the same thing about Conor and the situation. Conor took it way too fucking far with throwing the dolly thing and, you know, putting people at real risk. But I don't really have a problem with sort of these altercations and things that happen. You know, you guys are fighters, and it's like fighters have, you know, big, you know, I don't want to say big egos, but almost like fighters have like this,
chips
like
on their shoulder. They do.
An alpha
fighters
thing.
Generally, yeah, no, they're alpha. They have a chip on their shoulder, you know, and it's like with here we go.
Yeah,
There's Mike Brown, God bless him, ATT head coach, boozing it up with a nice drink in his hand. He gets in the middle. There's a little Crazy Horse. He's only a little skinny slip of a lad. Oh, right hand there, little cheeky one. Mike Brown trying to break it up. He's like, I ain't dropping this drink. $10.
Colby Covington pushed him first, though. It looks like. I don't know what happened leading up to it. I know Crazy Horse had just lost the fight.
That's right. He lost the fight. I saw a little bit of footage online. Whoever it was won a fight, and the ring girls were all porn stars, from what I'm led to believe, from the write-up that I read online. And one of the ring girls is like on her knees, licking his thighs and all that type of, obviously playing up to the porn star thing. So any wannabe fighters out there, Lewis and your guy, if you're single, I think I know where you should go and fight.
There you go. I don't mind it. So yeah, what do you think of this, dude? Colby Covington, first of all, if something like that...
He didn't do anything wrong, in my opinion. I mean, they obviously talked some shit. We were just saying a second ago, fighters, it's like, and I hate to say this because it makes it sound like animals, because we're not animals, you know, and it's a very hard sport to train for, but there is that certain alpha, chip in our shoulder that we have, you know. It's like my German Shepherd. If he sees another dog, we have Harry, the little guy, and they're fine. But if another dog is about, and he's about his size, and he looks like he might give Alfie a run for his money, Alfie's like, come on, motherfucker, let's go. And he's trying to get at him and pulling the lead, and it pisses me off. But to a certain degree, fighters, the kind of the similar way. You know, if someone's in your weight class and he's good, if you're a real fighter and not a pussy, that is, you're like, I want to fight this guy. I want to go for him, you know, through the correct professional channels, I mean, of course. But it's the same thing, and we see there. I don't know why Covington's arguing with Crazy Horse Bennett. There was no sound on the video, but Covington just seems to be upsetting people everywhere he goes. Obviously, he's fighting Javier Dos Anjos next. When is it? 2 weeks? No, 6 weeks. 6 weeks in Chicago. So he's got his hands full there with RDA. I think RDA beats him pretty handily, to be honest. But I guess we'll see.
Yeah, I think that the other thing, if you push somebody, I think at that point, if you put your hands on somebody, I don't give a shit. If you push me, right, I look at that as a strike. I look at that as you putting your hands on me. We are at a point now where it's gotten physical, and I think it's completely warranted to punch somebody.
If I, take out two guys there, one pushes the other, that's it. The other guy's allowed to punch him in retaliation?
Yeah, I think so.
No, come on. In this day and age.
In this day and age.
Push.
First of all, I don't know who the fuck this guy is, right? You know, let's just say take Crazy Horse Bennett and Kobe Covington, who are trained assassins. You guys are MMA fighters. You can fucking really do some real damage, right? So take them out of it. Let's just take two average guys, okay?
Yeah, sure. Two average Joes that don't know anything about fighting. They don't know each other. They're at a bar. Let's just say a bar, because it's always a fucking bar. They're at a bar. They get into an altercation. They're arguing about some dumb shit. One guy pushes the other. Finish the story, Lewis.
At that point, this guy, let's say it's me, this guy pushes me. I don't know what this guy's next thing is. I don't know if he's got some sort of skills. I don't know if he has a weapon. All I know is that he's put his hands on me in an aggressive way, right? He's crossed the line of, now we're not speaking, now he's putting his hands on me. I think you would be stupid to wait for him to throw the first punch. As an adult, I was always taught as a kid, don't throw the first punch.
You just said you don't know what this guy's background is. You don't know what his training is. You don't know if he's a dangerous individual. You don't know if he's a criminal. You don't know if he's got a screw loose. So when you've just been pushed, and I'm sounding very mature because when I was younger, yeah, man, I'd have said the same thing you do. But if you've just been pushed and you know nothing about this guy, and you don't want to ruin your night by ending up rolling around on the bloody floor, right, in front of your girlfriend, you're just trying to have a nice dinner out and a couple of cocktails, whatever. If you don't know anything about him, then taking it to the next level and starting a fight is probably the stupidest thing to do.
Yeah, but it's not starting a fight if the guy's crossed the line and put his hands on you. At that point, I feel like, you know, look, you can all, yes, all right, I guess you can also walk away. That is also.
At that point, you can just go, all right, listen, I've been pushed. I'm not hurt. I'm not injured. All right, he's embarrassed me a little bit. And then you could just say, listen, pal, yeah, I'll let you have that one. I'll let it slide. And you got lucky this time, then walk away. And I feel like you look like the bigger man. That's
well, you're a shark amongst fish.
My mum used to say to me, it takes the bigger man to walk away, son. And when I was a kid, because I was always getting into fights as a kid. And when I say all the time, I mean literally all the time. All the time. Every week I was always getting into scraps with other kids, you know. Always on the playground. If another kid thought he could beat me in a fight, I was like, all right, well, let's meet up after school, meet on the castle field, and let's do this. I was always my mum used to say, Michael, it takes the bigger man to walk away. I used to think, Mum, you are fucking crazy. You are out of your mind. It takes the bigger man to walk away. It takes a pussy to walk away. But no, she's right. At 39 years old, I fully agree with her. It does take the bigger man to walk away. Just know in your mind, yeah, I could have embarrassed you and me because no one wins fighting in a public place. You just look like a fucking asshole. There's nothing good about that. There's nothing sexy about it. There's nothing hard. You just look like a dumbass. You look like an animal.
I really want to I wish we had a quick cut. I wish we had the technology to do a quick cut of every time Michael Bisping's been into a public altercation over the past 5 years. Just every time he's got in some dude's face, every time he's like, I'll fuck you up, mate. I'll fuck.
No. Are you talking about when I'm training for a fight? If I'm going to fight George St. Pierre, if I'm going to fight anyone. Yeah, that's.
In life. I'm talking about like regular life.
I don't go through my life like that. I don't go through my life like that at all.
If some dude pushed you, there's no way. If some guy, I know you. If some guy right now, we were out at a fucking a bar, and some guy fucking said "fuck you, faggot" and pushed you, and then you backed up, I know you. There's no way. At the very least, you're not going to go, well, all right, mate, have a good day. I'm the bigger man here, and then walk away. At the very least, you're going to fucking threaten him. You're going to talk shit. You're going to make him feel small. I'm telling you, you're not that guy.
No. Listen. It depends on the situation. If you're having a bad day, right? If you're having a bad day and you got a headache, which I frequently do, I eat far too much ibuprofen, by the way. I get headaches all the time. And if I'm having a bad day and I'm tired and I've got a headache and some fucking little shit is in my face, they'll get told, yeah. But that doesn't mean I'm going to fight them. You know, roll around the floor. You know, because you know what? Most of the time when two grown men fight, they end up rolling around on the floor. I think it was Herbie Hyde and Mike Tyson, or I can't remember who it was. Two guys got two boxers. There was a big press conference. And this is two world-class boxers. And they throw one punch and they clinch and they're rolling around the floor at a press conference. This is two world-class boxers. So, you know, you always end up doing that. Nobody wins in that situation. Now, I'm not saying, Lewis, I'm perfect. I'm not saying I'm perfect, but I can say from the comfort of the games room at my house on a Monday afternoon, drinking coffee from my SpongeBob cup, that the best course of action is to walk away.
You know who wouldn't say that? You know who wouldn't say that?
That doesn't mean that, you know, I would do that every time, but I'm saying that's what you should do. And you're saying, no, if they push you, you can start a fight.
You know who wouldn't say that?
Saying. We're not bringing in history. We're not talking about me, Lewis. We're talking about a hypothetical situation. Your reaction would be to punch the guy. My advice to my son would be, you know what? Actually, no. If he fucking pushes you, you smack that motherfucker in the face so hard. Fuck that motherfucker. Listen, you want to be a pussy your entire life, son? Fuck it.
You know I'm right, dude. And that's the point that I'm making, is that if they push you, they've already started the fight.
I'm saying my son at school, all right, that's a different situation. Does he want to be looked at as a pussy his entire life? Okay? Or do you want to be respected? You're going to take that respect, son. You're going to take that respect. Okay? They're going to walk all over you for the rest of your life. Fuck that guy. Kick him in the balls straight away. In fact, don't even wait for the push. Headbutt. Hold on. Just the nose. Headbutt to the nose is the way to go. Forehead and nose, only one loser. The nose.
Headbutt. Kick him in the balls. Stomp him until he's out. Finger fuck his girlfriend behind the football field.
There you go. With Nick Newell's good time.
With Nick Newell's good. I'm making the point that if somebody puts their hand on you, they've already started the fight. And no, you're right. I would give my son the advice to... that's not even true. I tell him if somebody puts their hands on you, you punch them in the face over and over again until they're out.
My dad used to tell me that. My dad used to tell me that, and that got me in a lot of trouble when I was younger. My dad was more concerned with, which don't get me wrong, love my dad, as you know, we all know he's a good man. Shout out Jan Bisping if you're listening. No doubt he is. I think he listens to the podcast now. And we're going to get him back on as well soon, by the way. But yeah, he used to say to me all the time, if I got into a fight at school, he didn't give a shit as long as I won. You know, and of course that was important to me. But, you know, in the grand scheme of things, telling someone if they start to punch him in the face, that's not the best advice to give to a child, Lou.
Yes, it's not realistic, good advice, but it's just... Here's the other thing. I actually wouldn't give that advice to a kid if they push you, punch him. No, because a child can't actually do any real damage for the most part, right? So it's a little bit different, though. But as a man, this is the point that I'm really making. As a man... It just takes one good shot. So you're going to wait till some dude fucking puts you out? You're with your chick, you're with your kid, whatever it might be. It gets to the point where it's bubbled over, where he's physically crossing a line. I think it is smarter to say, well, I'm not going to be the one to say, hey, you throw the first punch, man, then I'm going to go. No, dude, you throw that first punch because the first punch might be all it takes. And then you're on the floor unconscious, and now you're in real trouble.
Agreed. And we could give counter arguments to this situation all day. Or a guy could pull out a gun or whatever. You know, it could go on all day. You know what I mean? I just say, in this day and age,
get a
just
gun.
Want to avoid confrontation. You know what I mean? Maybe if you're younger and you're at school and you don't want to be bullied every day by the same asshole that comes after you, then yeah, at some point you're going to have to stand up for yourself. But as a grown man, that's maybe out with his wife and wants a nice quiet night, I don't know. If somebody pushes me in front of a girl, they got a fucking world of trouble as well. If I'm with my wife and someone pushes me in front of my wife, then yeah, you know, I'm just gonna turn the other cheek, Lewis.
There is no situation where you walk away.
I'm gonna send him over a drink. I say, send this guy a drink.
Yeah, I don't believe
that's
a
my
fucking
story.
word you say. Yeah, you're a phony. I was bullied a lot as a kid. I was bullied by these like really racist, like fucking assholey white trash trailer park kids in my neighborhood. And that was a lesson that my mom taught me. And to be honest, my mom didn't have a lot of good lessons in life, but it really was true. You know, I would come home and I would cry and like, these kids are bullying me every day. She was like, punch them square in the nose. She was like, I promise you, even if they kick your ass, nobody wants to get their ass kicked. Nobody's trying to get into a fight. Nobody's trying to feel the pain of every time they say something to you, punch them in the face. Trust me, 2 or 3 times later, they're going to move on to the kid who's not willing to punch them in the face. And I remember I got my ass kicked one day, and my mom literally, it's like out of a movie. She took me around house to house to the 4 kids who would bully me in my neighborhood and made me fight them one-on-one. I went 3-1 that day, by the way.
Yeah, the one you lost, you ended up in hospital for 6 months and with brain damage. But whatever, good job, Mom. Good job.
He beat the shit out of me in front of my mom. Like, just beat me up in front of my mom.
And did your mom just watch it and do nothing?
Yeah. Oh man, she was cheering him on.
She's like, "Come on, lose, you pussy."
Yes. Dude, he hit me so hard in the nose. It sucks to be punched square in the nose.
She's absolutely right because you know most of the time kids kids that are, bullying people, and a lot of the time they probably don't even realize that they're bullying people. They're just trying to entertain themselves and trying to look smart to other people and try and be funny and try and get people to like them, and they're acting like a dick. And someone's going to be the butt of the amusement, and that is bullying that kid. And if they turn around and, as you say, they fight fire with fire and they're willing to go there, they'll move on, because that's not what they're looking for. They're not looking to get into a physical altercation. They're looking to try and make themselves look good, use someone for the butt of their amusement. And if they're willing to take it there, then yeah, you're absolutely right. They will move on. Yeah. I think we're all bullied at some point. That's why I was talking. I remember George St. Pierre at the press conference. He was talking about it. I was like, fucking hell, George. Come on, buddy. Most people have been bullied at some point, Last week's episode was called The Sad Violin, but, it's like, come on, George. Get over it, pal. All right, it's that time of the show again. We're going to talk about betdsi.com. If you listen to the show every week, you know what we're about to say, but if you don't, then we're going to give you some good advice. Of course, watching sports is a lot of fun, but watching sports when you have some money involved makes it so much better. So if you want to do that, I suggest you go to betdsi.com and use the promo code. What is the promo code, Lewis?
Me25, and
what happens if you use that promo code?
You get a free $25 wager, okay? But then if you decide to put
cash, for registering.
Yeah, just for registering. You don't have to put anything down. You get $25 to give it to you. Go play, go have fun. If you've never gambled, if you've never dipped your toe in the devil's lake, this is the time. This is like, in the after-school specials back in the day, they'd be like, oh, I don't want to use drugs, but then the drug dealer the first time says, hey, this first one's on me. That's what we're doing right now.
Exactly. So we're going to encourage you to become a gambling addict.
Yeah.
By giving you the first test free. Go to betdsi.com. Use the promo code ME25. You get $25 for free. And if you do put some money down, they will triple your money, or they will give you a 200% bonus match. If they give you 86, if you put down $86, Lewis, how much would that bet become?
$258.
Correct, Armando. I did not think you'd get that, Lewis. I got to say, I am impressed. I'm very impressed. So, yeah, you get the idea. Promo code ME25, $25 just for registering. Of course, betdsi.com isn't new. They've been in business for 20 years. Top-rated business on review sites. Easy to use, fast-playing interface.
That's the thing you gotta point out, Michael Bisping.
Game wagering options throughout the tournament. Make plays throughout entire games and events. Great customer service, of course, available 24/7, 365. BetDSI has built a reputation on fast payments and winnings and free money. Me, $25 just for registering.
All right, let's get back into it.
Anyway, talking to Nick Newell. I mentioned Nick Newell before, and we were saying, should he get... I said before, I mean last week. We were talking about if Nick Newell, the one-handed MMA fighter that's only ever been beat by Justin Gaethje, does he deserve a shot in the UFC? And I think it was a resounding yes. Mm-hmm. But now Dana White's come out and said that he can fight. He can have a fight on Dana White Contender Series, looking for a fight. So, yeah. What do you think of that, Lewis?
I think it's great. Good for him. We said that last week. I think we, I think that if it's a dude who, is of sound mind and body, technically sound mind and body, and is willing to go out there and put it on the line, give him the shot. If he could win enough to get in there, I think it's great. It's a very inspirational story. It's not, look, he deserves a shot way more than CM Punk.
100%. I mean, listen.
He fought he walked the line.
I think, but we're not going to spend too much time on this because obviously we talked about it last week. But we did talk about it last week. So as a follow up, he's getting a fight. Dana White Contender Series. So he's not in the UFC yet. A good friend of mine, Jalen Turner, who's a lightweight, trains down at the Ruka training headquarters in Costa Mesa. He's got a fight on the Dana White Contender Series as well. So, yeah, I mean, this is a big opportunity for these guys. Not everybody gets a contract. You got to win your fight. And even then, I'm not even sure if you get a contract. So, yeah, best of luck to him. Best of luck to him. I wish him all the best. I really do. Yeah. I think it's inspirational. Somebody like that obviously had people laughing at him or people thinking, you can't do this. I remember when I said I was going to turn professional, I had my fair share of people talking behind my back, thinking, Jesus Christ, this guy's out of his mind. So what? He's a bit of a handy guy. He can handle himself in a fight. But this is different. This is professional. And those people, they're not laughing now. They're not talking shit now. And no doubt there's him. With only one hand with obvious disability, I'm sure he experienced the same thing as well. So, as I say, full credit to this guy.
Yeah, well, good for him, man, and good for Dana White for giving him the opportunity. And I think sometimes people put it in the category of a freak show fight, the same way they would put it in the category of CM Punk, or sort of just like an angle that they're trying to get. And that's not what this is. I don't think it is at all. I think the fact that Dana White is even saying, fine, let's do looking for a fight and really prove it, because if you look at his record, he is 14-1, but the only person of note that has a name, I should say, because I'm sure they're all of note, they're professional fighters. But the only person that has a name is Justin Gaethje on there, that I've heard of anyway. I believe the only guy that's fought in the UFC. So Dana White is truly having him step up and take the opportunity. And sometimes guys are giving in an easy path, i.e. Sage Northcutt, and then sometimes guys have to go and take that fucking opportunity. And I think it is more valuable in life to be a guy that has to earn those opportunities and take those opportunities over and over again, and it means a hell of a lot more.
Yeah, absolutely. And Sage Northcutt, whilst he was giving some easy fights, you got to remember they matched him up with Mickey Cole pretty quickly, and Mickey Cole is no walk in the park for anybody. So yeah. And I don't think they're looking at Nick Newell as a gimmick. If anything, that is a disability. So it's he's got to prove his way. If he wins, God bless him. Welcome to the UFC. And I look forward to seeing him on that roster and achieving his dreams. I think it's amazing because so many people that have disabilities think they can't do it. They tell themselves no. They think I'm not good enough. Or society tells them that they're not good enough, and they feel that they don't belong there. They don't deserve to be there. Well, here's a man that's defied all the odds. And here he is, hopefully going to be fighting in the UFC at some point in the near future. So I think it's an amazing story. I really do. All right, moving on. What else?
Talk about Amanda Nunes.
Amanda Nunes, what about her?
All right, so apparently this isn't like this is a very slow news week. So we are making chicken salad out of chicken shit here.
We're scraping the barrel here. Listen, I could talk about a lot of shit. What did we talk about before? We talked about kids for a little bit and bullying. That wasn't planned, so that filled 15 minutes or so we're good. It's a slow news week. UFC. You got to get some fights on, so at least me and Lewis can fucking talk about something. We had Bellator at the weekend.
If we're talking about Bellator, let me explain to you. If we are talking about Bellator, we have gone far and wide to try to find stories.
Why is that, Lewis?
We just don't really talk Bellator on the show.
No, because I say every week, because Lewis tries to talk fucking Bellator every week, and I'm like, bro, listen, I'm not a UFC shill. But at the end of the day, I'm on the UFC roster. I'm paid by the UFC. I cover UFC on Fox. I get paid by UFC and by Fox. So, listen, I don't want to be the biggest promoter of Bellator. I think Bellator have a fine product, and I wish them all the best. But if we can not talk about it constantly, like Lewis seems to want to do, and Lewis always wants to run the negative news stories. I'm like, let's spread peace and love and unity.
Yeah, because I am a UFC shill. You hear that, Dana White? I'm willing to run specific opinion pieces and bring down Bellator from the inside out. Pay me, motherfucker.
Breaking down boundaries.
I will do it. I don't give a shit. I'll tell you right now. I'll spread rumors about Bellator fighters, their execs. I have no soul.
So, okay, we know that, Lewis. Tell the people something we don't already know. We know you have no soul, right? Oh, Jesus Christ, you got no mustache. You got half a mustache. Tell us about...
All right, speaking of mustaches, Amanda Nunes is fighting. She's going to be fighting.
Who's she fighting?
Who is it?
Two hot chicks in the main event, no doubt.
Yeah, it's going to be... What's the fight coming up?
It's Amanda Nunes versus Raquel Pennington for the women's bantamweight UFC world title. I believe in the co-main event it is. Is it Jacare or is it Machida and
No, it's Jacare versus Kelvin Gastelum, the toughest fighter at 185 pounds.
Kelvin Gastelum versus Jacare is a good solid fight.
Yeah. I think
one. If fighters had the correct rest in between and weren't overtrained, then they did do so much better. They do so. Like, if a fighter was to go out and get choked out because he had bad ribs and couldn't move, if a fighter was to compete to save the day and not back out of an event, if said fighter had bad ribs and couldn't move and was choked out, and then 3 weeks later found himself in China, I'm sure that fighter could do a lot better had he not had bad ribs, had he not been overtrained, had he not been choked unconscious. So I don't know what you're alluding to, Lewis, when you say that. And Harrington, go fuck yourself. I heard your little chuckle in the background. But
I'm saying that Kelvin Gastelum is a monster, and that honestly,
he's not a monster. He's a good fighter. He's not a
unbeatable.
I'd beat him. I'd beat him in a rematch. I know that for a fact. We're having Kelvin in the studio on Wednesday on UFC Tonight.
You should beat the shit out of him.
Say again?
You should beat the shit out of him in the studio.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure that'll go down well. Yeah, sorry, guys. Pardon me. I know we have a TV show to make, but, this is business.
Just sucker punching.
He's a gentleman. He's a nice guy. So, no problem there whatsoever. So, obviously, he's fighting Jacare at the weekend. Not the weekend. When is it? 2 weeks. 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I think Kelvin wins the fight, to be honest. Of course I say that because he beat me. Anytime anyone beats me, I said, well, that's it. This fucking guy's unstoppable. He's a beast. What are you talking about? I do think he beats Jacare, though. Main event, Amanda Nunes taking on Rocky Raquel. What was your point, Lewis? What did you have to say?
So apparently the UFC tweeted out, who's excited for UFC 225, which is the event after UFC 224, which is the one that Raquel Pennington and Amanda Nunes are fighting on. So,
225?
What'd you say?
You said 225 is the event after 224. Well, yeah, we get that. Most people know how to count.
You're in a mood today. Here's
I'm not in a mood. I'm in a good mood.
Let's stop for a minute. Hold on. Let's relax.
Right. Deep breath.
Don't
push me, Lewis. Don't push me. If you push me, that is grounds for assault, according to you. So, I'll see you when I'm in New York.
Dude, I talk a lot of shit across the country.
You're
I really
pushing
do.
Me verbally here. No. So go on. What did Amanda Leon? Is that Brazilian for tiger or something? Portuguese for tiger or lioness?
Lion.
What did she say, Lewis? Tell the people.
I guess she was upset that the UFC had tweeted out that who's excited for UFC 225. And she was like, hey, UFC 224 is coming up. If you want to pull up the tweet, you can. UFC 224 is coming up before that. And then a smiley face and like a punchy hand or something. I don't know, some emojis. So, yeah, apparently she's, taking a little bit of a jab at the UFC for ignoring UFC 224 promotion. UFC 225, of course, being, a huge event that's coming up. Pull up that entire card because look.
Hold on. Who says she's having a little jab? You said yourself, smiley face emoji. 224 is coming before 225, smiley face emoji. I think anytime a smiley face emoji is used, it infers that I'm just playing. I'm having a little dig, but I'm having a laugh. I'm saying it with a wink and a smile.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the reality is, I guess. So, look, if somebody said, fuck you.
Okay. Listen, where did you get this story from, Lewis?
I didn't get the story from anywhere.
Where did you get the story from, Lewis? What shitty website did you pull this story from? Tell the truth.
You told me not to say the name of the website, and I respect you too much. It's your show.
Website that shall not be named. But this is a prime example of the shittiness of said website. Say it. Say the name.
MichaelBisping.com. MMA Mania.
Did you take it from MMA Mania?
Did I? I don't know. I think I just took it from the internet. Maybe it was Reddit. I don't know.
Well, I don't see any problem in that. She's just like, listen, she's the champion, so she gets a piece of the pay-per-view. So whilst, okay, all right, let's play into your narrative. And there probably was a little bit of bitchiness to that tweet, but she put a smiley face on it, so she's just friendly reminding them. But here's the thing, she's the champion, so if that pay-per-view does well, obviously she earns more money. If for every pay-per-view sold, they get an extra amount of money, whatever it is, whatever they've agreed. And she probably just feels, maybe they're promoting 225 more, but 225 is a monster card, 2 title fights and a solid undercard, and of course the fucking great CM Punk, man. Everybody needs to know. They need to mark that in the diary. So, yeah, maybe she's annoyed. Or maybe 224 has been promoted properly and they're just throwing 225 out there.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think everyone is sort of looking past 224. I didn't even know that it was Raquel Pennington. But I got to be honest with you. I'm not one of these guys. I'm never super excited about female MMA. I'm excited about certain female mixed martial artists. Like, I really love Rose Namajunas. I think she's great. And I think that, Yin Jacek is incredible. And that fight I was just as excited for as I am, for most dudes that are fighting. But when I got into the sport when Dana White said flat out into a camera, women will never fight in the UFC. Like, there used to be an old school way of like looking at women fighting, and it sort of changed, and I'm slowly but surely coming around. But that's because there's certain women that are kind of special athletes or that have something about them that really get me into it.
I was listening to everything you said
No, you
intently,
weren't.
but I was also at the same time searching for a song which you reminded me of when we discussed MMA Mania. But you're right. I do enjoy the female fights, and this is a really good fight. I think the problem with this fight, and no disrespect to her, is Raquel Pennington. She's not. I mean, Amanda Nunes, certainly after beating Ronda Rousey the way she did, the way she beat her so easily in the first round, she really became a household name, and she's had some amazing fights. And every time Amanda Nunes fights, she does deliver. She really does. She brings it in an immense amount of violence, really, to the TV screen. She does. Raquel Pennington, again, she's a good fighter, but she's not on that level. Maybe I'm not saying she can't compete. I'm not saying she can't win the fight. I'm just saying from a public perception, she's not there. Now the undercard is good. You've got Machida and Belfort, two Brazilians that tested positive for steroids. They're both back. That should be fun. And then you got Jacare taking on Gastelum, so that's another great fight as well. But of course, the title fight is always the main event. The title fight is always the main event. You got Raquel Pennington, I think 135. It's not the most stacked division, so they've got to do what they do, and I'm sure Raquel is the rightful number one contender. I'm not sure of her win streak right now, so I can't talk about that too much. But yeah, as I say,
4-fight win streak.
It's not the blockbuster fight. Will it be an amazing fight? I'm sure it will. As I said, Amanda Nunes always delivers, but Raquel Pennington, it's not. She just doesn't have that crossover appeal, and I'm not trying to diminish her brand or anything like that. She's a fantastic fighter, so maybe that's why it's getting overlooked a little bit. But there's still an amazing undercard, And as I say, fan recognition to non-hardcore MMA fans doesn't mean that the fight's going to suck.
It's weird, though, because she hasn't had a fight since November 12th, 2016. That's against Miesha Tate. Was that at the Garden? Yeah, right?
Yeah, that was at the Garden when Miesha Tate retired. Yeah, so that's weird. 2 years. So see, again, so that plays into what I just said.
That's crazy.
So that's probably why, because I'm like, hold on, I don't recall what her last fight was, but that's why it was 2 years ago.
Yeah,
so,
dude, that's crazy.
Yeah.
It's so long, almost 2 years, and then to get a title fight, it was was Amanda Nunes supposed to fight somebody else? Who was supposed to fight?
Cyborg.
Wait, what?
Cyborg. She was supposed to fight Cyborg. That's the fight that the UFC were trying to make.
Yeah, but they never actually made that fight, right?
It never actually made the fight. I think she called out Cyborg. Cyborg retaliated and said, yeah, let's do this. For whatever reason, it never materialized.
That's the only fight I give a fuck about for Amanda Nunes.
Say again?
That's the only fight I give a hell about for Amanda Nunes. Cyborg is, to be honest with you, she's just like, if you want to go for the best in the world, I mean, you got to fight Cyborg. They should fight at 140 pounds. I know Cyborg had trouble getting down to 140 pounds in the past, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, she apparently almost died.
Yeah.
So, that's never good. You don't want to almost die in your wake up when you got to fight tomorrow. So, yeah, 145 I think is her weight. Lewis, I've just sent you an email there. Did I ever send to you the Believe You Me song, which had been sent in?
Yeah, I think a while ago. It was right before we played
you were
it.
talking about MMA Mania, and they mentioned MMA Mania in the song.
Oh, that's right. You know what we'll do?
Me.
After the questions in a little bit, we'll close the show with the Believe You Me song. We'll give them a little shout out.
There you go.
A band called Unhinged.
Exactly.
Play the video too,
listen,
right?
224 is going to be a good card. Is it as good as 225? Probably not. But you never know. Some of those ones that fly on the radar, they really deliver. As I said, Jacare versus Gastelum, for obvious reasons, I'm really interested in that one. How long we've been going? Should we do some questions?
Some questions. Do you want to, one more? I just want to mention this because I thought this is kind of interesting. I don't know, it doesn't really fucking matter. But UFC founder Art Davies is going to be inducted into the Hall of Fame, which I don't know. I think, who's in the Hall of Fame? Pull up the Hall of Fame, Harrington.
Just recently, Matt Serra got inducted as well.
Really?
Yeah, Matt Serra did. Yeah, I think a couple of weeks ago, the last fight. Yeah, okay. Matt Serra got inducted, yeah.
That kind of makes sense. I mean, yeah.
Of course it does. Matt Serra, legendary career, one of the early guys fighting in the UFC forever.
Can I say?
Won the belt.
It's not that it doesn't make sense. I just weirdly feel like it just hasn't been long enough. I don't know what it is. It just feel like it's like you.
They have different eras. They have different eras in the Hall of Fame now. They have modern era and this and that. I'm not sure what era this guy's going to go in, but there'll be the correct category, I'm sure.
Well, he's one of the founders, and
David, I'm not sure.
Miletich, Randy Couture, Mark Coleman. These are the Hall of Famers. Royce Gracie, Matt Hughes, Tito Ortiz. These all make sense. Chuck Liddell,
Right, so-
Charles Mask Lewis, Forrest Griffin. That's weird to me too, for some reason.
No, Forrest Griffin won the Ultimate Fighter, became the champion. When Ultimate Fighter won back in the day, right?
Yeah.
Won the Ultimate Fighter. That's a big deal. The very first one. Then he became Ultimate Fighter. He helped put the sport on the map. Prior to the Ultimate Fighter, the company was on the verge of going bust. And it was that fight that Dana very publicly says was a turning point in the career. People were watching that fight and then calling their friends and, hey, you got to turn over the channel and watch this fight. And slowly but surely from there, that was the turning point. So I agree with that. Carry on. Dan Severn, Ken Shamrock, the American Psycho, Stephen Bonner. Listen, two counterparts in a fight. I get it. Stephen Bonner, Forrest Griffin. But Stephen Bonner lost the fight.
Yeah.
So get him out the whole thing.
And Forrest won the 205-pound title. So it's not like, if Forrest went on and did something beyond being in a majorly important epic fight. I also agree. Forrest Griffin should be in the Hall of Fame one day. Matt Serra should be in the Hall of Fame one day. It's just kind of weird because I don't look at those guys as being like, they're retired, but they're not so far retired that I'm like, oh, they should be in the Hall of Fame now. I feel like you put those guys in the Hall of Fame in 10 years when you look back.
But I think being retired is enough to enter the Hall of Fame. I think if you're retired, you're retired, and I think it makes more sense that whilst you still got a bit of public steam about you, to put you in. Speaking of, you say it was Art Davies?
Art Davies, yeah.
Yeah, Art Davies. He was the founder of the UFC.
One
correct?
of them, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm not sure if this is the guy that I'm talking about, and if it is, if I have my facts mixed up, I apologize. But last year, one of the guys that founded the original UFC, that sold it to Zuffa, they were going to induct him into the Hall of Fame last year, and it was right before the news that Zuffa had sold the UFC for $4.4 billion. And I'm not sure what they sold it for. I think they sold it for $1 million or something back in the day. Was it $1 million or $4 million or whatever? It wasn't much money.
$2 million.
Say again.
$2 million.
$2 million. So they sold the UFC for $2 million, and they were going to induct him into the Hall of Fame because he was one of the original founders. And they'd booked his flight to Las Vegas. He was on his way to the airport, and the news broke that they'd sold it for $4.4 billion. And he didn't get on the flight. You fucking motherfuckers. Because think about it, that would sting. I mean, if I'm getting my facts wrong a little bit, I apologize. I heard this, but you can't help but feel for that guy. You sell it for $1 million, and then years later, they turn it into $4.4 billion. Of course, that was through a lot of investment, a lot of blood, sweat, tears, vision, hard work, and all the rest of it. But even still, it's like that guy that sold his stock in Apple in the early days, that's got to sting.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, well, good for Art Davies. I know he went on to do other stuff too. He was the one, if I'm not mistaken, who made X-Arm, right? Which was it was basically arm wrestling, but you had to punch each other and kick each other in the face while you arm wrestled each other. It was a new sport they were trying to create.
I can't think why that didn't take off.
Yeah, that's what we should do.
So arm wrestling with kicking and punching at the same time.
Exactly. Some MMA fighters ended up doing it.
Lewis, he should be in the Hall of Fame for that alone.
Pull up some X-Arm video to show Bisping. He's never seen it. It's pretty.
That sounds like the stupidest thing ever.
It's pretty stupid, but it's kind of entertaining. Think about that. All you got to do is pin the other guy's arm down, or you can win by submission or knockout.
How do you submit somebody when you're in the middle of an arm wrestle?
Well, flying armbar, the only way you can. The only thing you can do, you're strapped to his arm. The only move.
Motivated in this conversation, Lewis. I am. Listen, I've been with you the whole time, buddy. I've been with you, but I can't do this. I can't go down this bullshit rabbit hole.
Show him some X-Arm.
The saga of the X-Arm.
Look at this.
Show it to me.
I think you're afraid to compete in X-Arm. Maybe that's why.
I think we've had a good, solid discussion. I'll tell you this right now. This left arm right here. Look at the size of that bad boy. No one will beat this fucking left arm. Ooh.
Look. There's a submission. There's the flying armbar.
That is not a flying armbar, but it looked like two ladies. Oh, my God. He kicked him in the face.
Pin his arm.
Pin his arm.
Punch him in the mouth.
17 ways to win. Or knock him out.
Yeah.
Shannon, what are you doing? I didn't know you worked there.
Yeah, that did look a little like Shannon. Look, it's extreme, dude.
Nice rash guards. I mean, those guys.
It's still kind of a fucking hardcore sport. It's still more hardcore than golf or baseball.
Yeah, nobody said golf or baseball had to be hardcore. They're highly skilled sports. This, on the other hand, is not highly skilled at all. Hold one arm, and then with the other arm, I'm going to try and punch you in the face. Or if you're foolish enough to put your head near the floor, I'm going to kick you in the head. And in between that, I'm going to drink 10 pints of Stella Artois, smoke 40 cigarettes, and I'll still be the X-Arm champion. I can't think why it didn't take off, Lewis. I'm really at a loss for words as to why this wasn't the next big sport. Art Davey, I feel for you, man.
Now Michael Bisping thinks your Hall of Fame induction should be taken away. Now that we saw X-Arm, it's over.
Can you lose your Hall of Fame status?
In baseball, you can, right? When they found out people were doing, like, steroids and shit?
Really?
Yeah.
So if you get put in the Hall of Fame, you're not forever in there. If you do something that you bring shame on the company, they can retract that and say, right, from now on, that's it. Yeah. You used to be in the Hall of Fame.
So somebody send the UFC the X-Arm trailer and let them make their own decision.
Send that and say, are you sure about this one? I know the guy that runs the Hall of Fame for the UFC. Let's get him on the phone. Let's call him up. Let's send this video to him. Ant Evans.
Why don't we you want to get him on next week? That'd be an interesting conversation. The process of why you would choose, who you would choose.
I'll text him, but I don't think he'll want to come on and talk about it publicly. But, I'll try. I'll send it. That would be interesting, but... I'm sure it's in-house discussions that the Believe You Me audience isn't privy to, and rightly so. They are a massively successful company, and they don't want to divulge their business practices to all 17 people listening to this.
All right, let's get some questions. Couple things.
Can I run to the bathroom super fast?
I'll do the plug real quick while you go to the bathroom, and we'll get some questions going here. Real quick, if you guys love the show, you should know that we have over 60 complete shows available on demand. We started doing video maybe 20 shows ago. So most of our shows are on video now. If you guys want access to every show we've ever done, go to gasdigitalnetwork.com. You guys get the entire on-demand library. You get pre-release, so you get them about a day before they go to YouTube and iTunes. Also, it's ad-free. I know a lot of people hate the ads. We have a live chat as well if you guys want to join the conversation during the live chat. Right, Shannon? Goddamn right. Use the promo code BYM. Get yourself a 14-day free trial. You save also $1.50 per month on membership. So it's just $7 instead of $8.50 per month. And it supports the show. That's the most important part. It actually supports the fucking show, you scumbags. And if you want to join the conversation, you can do so by shooting us an email at bym@gasdigitalnetwork.com. BYM for Believe You Me at gasdigitalnetwork.com. We always pick 3 questions to end the show with, sometimes 2. And that's that. We're always very honest. So. Oh, wait, when Bisping comes back, I have to also say, oh, there he is. I also want to take a moment, Michael Bisping, to say happy birthday to Michael Harrington. Harrington's birthday, we thought it was today. Shannon told me misinformation, but apparently it's tomorrow. So early, happy early birthday, Mike Harrington, May 1st. Here is a cupcake for you, my friend.
Oh, thank you.
Happy birthday, Harrington, from all of us here on the California side of the Believe You Me podcast. Have a great day, my friend.
I made him walk and buy his own cupcake. I told him I was hungry. I was like, dude, I really want a cupcake.
Pretty funny. It's pretty funny.
Did you get a good one?
I got ones I thought you'd like.
Well, no. I don't want them. Those are all for you. I'm back on a diet. I'm fighting Ryan O'Neal.
Lewis would like?
Yeah, what are the flavors?
Banana with honey something or other, and
Racist.
then sea salt chocolate. It's pretty good.
Racist again.
Yeah. I like the sea salt chocolate, but the banana thing.
No. Banana. Okay.
I like bananas, but I like banana flavored things. I like banana flavored things, but I don't like bananas.
Wow.
Yeah, it is a mystery that will remain unsolved.
The more you know.
Shall we
about
move
Michael
on
Bisping.
and do some questions?
Yeah, here it is, guys. All right, so first question. This is Zach from the UK. Hey, guys, my name is Zach. I'm from Bristol in the UK. I love the show. It's funny as fuck and the best podcast by far. Lewis really is a stand-up guy, and Bisping is my fucking unit. What? And I love watching him fight. My question is for Bisping. I'm 17. As of this month, and I've been boxing since I was 10 in various tournaments and fights and whatnot around Europe, and have recently got into BJJ, and I'm hoping to continue both sports till I'm 25 and then fight professionally, as I have solid stand-up when it comes to punching. He's also got a run-on sentence like you wouldn't believe. God damn it, kid, learn to use a period. It's the Queen's English. let's see. Solid stand-up when it comes to punching and knowing what to expect from fighting, but need to learn the grappling as otherwise I'm useless in MMA. Seriously, still not a period. I'm writing to ask Bisping if he could recommend any other martial arts that are worth taking up, as well as like maybe wrestling or kickboxing, or will I be okay with just going into pro MMA with just boxing and BJJ, and if he has any other tips. Sorry for dragging this on, but this means a fucking load to me, as I've always stayed up for Bisping's fights, and I eventually want to fight in the UFC. Thanks, Zach. So the young fighter, 16, turning 17 this month. Give him just some solid advice. You gave me some advice earlier on.
What's his name?
His name is Zach, and his last name is Nabby.
Okay. Last name is what?
Nabby.
Zach Nabby. Listen, mate, you're 16 years old, so you have literally the world at your feet. You could achieve anything you want to in this life. If this is what you want to do, then fortunately, you're only 16. Now, basically, it sounds like you know everything because you just outlined everything. You said, you mentioned jiu-jitsu, you mentioned wrestling, you mentioned all these things. Listen, the writing's on the wall with mixed martial arts these days. You got to know your boxing. You got to be able to kick, so therefore take up a kicking art, whether it be kickboxing, Thai boxing, they're the main ones, or even a bit of taekwondo, whatever, whatever works for you, whatever you feel comfortable with, mixing in with your boxing techniques. Of course, you got to grapple. Jiu-jitsu, wrestling, they're the main ones. There's some more outside of the box ones, but they're the main ones you need to look for. And then you need to be able to put it all together because, you got to go to a place where you can use all those skills at the same time. Fortunately, you're 16, so you have time on your side, as I said. The one thing you don't want to do, Zach, is rush. So many people rush their careers, and I find it very, very frustrating. Everybody wants to be professional. Everybody wants to be that guy. They want to be in the UFC, this and that. You're 16, so you got all the time in the world. You see some people go out there and they rush to be a professional because it sounds good. They want to tell people they're a professional MMA fighter. So they turn pro. Now, you can get a fight. Maybe not at 16, maybe when you're 18 or a little older. You can get fights, whether it's in England or in America, as a professional mixed martial artist, okay? You know why? Because they need people to fill up fucking cards. If some promoter rents out a sports hall and they're going to put on insane fist fights, insane MMA 12, they need people to fight on there. So, they'll take somebody like yourself. Win or lose, good or bad, they don't care. They just want to sell tickets to the public so people go and watch. Now, the main event or co-main, whatever, you might have some decent guys, but as you go down the card, the quality falls massively, and that's because people that don't have any business being a professional mixed martial artist takes these fights because they want to say they are a professional mixed martial artist. But the problem is, from what I'm saying, and sorry for the long answer, when people that really, really want to be a professional mixed martial artist and they want to go all the way and they want to fight in the UFC and they want to have a good career, they might go out and they fight an MMA fight and they lose. And that loss is on your record forever. And that will hurt you as you're climbing the ranks. If you want to do this solidly as a career and you're willing to put the time and effort into it, having a loss on your record or having multiple losses on your record at the start of your career really, really hurts you. It's not sexy to a promoter. It's not sexy to the UFC. It doesn't sound good. You get to the UFC, like myself, I was 10-0. Sounds good. All first round knockouts. You can't rush it. People want to rush it. They want to rush to the race. Pardon?
At light heavy.
Yeah, at light heavyweight as well. No, but still, people rush it. So, Zach, you're 16. Take your time. Find a good gym in your local area. Get on Google. Ask some friends. Go to a message board, whatever. Do some research. Find a good MMA gym. And the best of luck.
Very nice, Zach. Good luck to you, my friend. Hopefully we can come back to this segment in the podcast 10 years from now, and Zach's fucking fighting in the UFC. And he's like, Bisping gave me the worst advice I've ever received. I went the opposite. And I fucking...
That can happen. That could happen. Listen, I decided I was going to be a professional MMA fighter, and I took my first fight 3 months later. That said, I had done martial arts for a long, long time. Do you know what I mean? This wasn't a new thing to me. Fighting, competing, I fought all over the world even then, but I'd stopped doing any kind of martial arts when I was about 18. And then I kind of went on hiatus and started drinking. For the next 10 years or so, the next 6 years, whatever, 8 years. So I did have a background. But don't rush it, guys. Don't rush it. Next question.
Next question is from Andrew. He says, I love the show. Huge fan of Michael. Go fuck yourself. Says nothing about me. Everybody needed to point out that I'm just a fan of Michael Bisping. You know, that's fine.
I mean, listen, Lewis, I think you're very good. I think you're a hilarious comedian, but it is what it is.
We're just, I got to be honest. He didn't have to say it. It's understood. We get it. You don't have to point it out. Like, hey, just so you know.
Stop insulting my fans, Lewis.
Yeah.
Okay?
So anyway, future Hall of Fame.
Incidentally, that's the first time you'll ever hear. I was joking, by the way, when I said stop insulting my fans. I think that might be the first time I've ever, and it was only for a joke, ever used the term fans. And it fucking irritates me when I hear MMA fighters talk about their fans. And it's like, come on, they're UFC fans, and they might like you, or certainly ones that have only had 2 or 3 fights in the UFC. You know what I mean? They address their fans after a fight. I just want to thank you, all my fans. If it wasn't for my fans, I wouldn't be here right now. Bullshit. You ain't doing it for your fucking fans. You don't know them personally. You telling me that you're giving up your life and your struggle and you're getting punched in the face every day for your fucking fans? Listen. Stop saying fans. Say supporters. Say I appreciate everyone that supports me. You're not Justin Bieber. You're not Michael Jackson. People that supported me in my career, I'm massively grateful for. But these little fucking dumb fucks that come on, they have 2 fights, and they're out there thanking their fans. It's like, come on, get a grip. That's my opinion. What do you think of that?
I don't know. I sort of disagree in a weird way. I don't know. Look, in comedy, the one thing that's the most important thing, in my opinion, the absolute most important thing the one thing that I've learned, I've been in comedy for 13 years, is get fans. Get people that appreciate what you do, and is the lifeblood.
Yeah, absolutely, get people that appreciate what you do, but don't walk around referencing my fans all the time. Listen, I have a lot of supporters out there that I'm massively appreciative for. And I say all the time, if it weren't for them, my career would have been very different. Everyone that supports me all over the world and in England and stuff like that. But let's not lose yourself and disappear up your own fucking backside and talking about my fans in every sentence. I just want to thank my fans. Oh,
yeah, look, yes.
You know what I mean? It just comes across as a little wanky to me. You come across as a little wanker. Oh, my fans. Get a fucking grip. You're a cage fighter. People enjoy what you do. Great.
It's it's also a different thing.
Like, just fucking slow it down a bit.
I mean, but no, it's also a different thing, I think, for a comedian and a fighter. So I get what you're saying. Yes. All right. Regardless.
It's a little annoying. Anyway, go.
Love the show. Huge fan of Michael. Future Hall of Famer in my eyes. Question for Michael. Having lived in the U.S. for several years, I'd like to know what's the thing that you miss the most about the U.K.? Personally, after a fortnight holiday, I'm itching for some decent chips and gravy and the sound of St. James Park on match day. Thanks. P.S. My girl Laura says if I get you to mention it, she'll let me have a dog and agree that I call it Bisping. Do a lad a favor. Thanks, Andrew from Newcastle.
Andrew from Newcastle. How are you, man? What's up, pet? How are you? Says he talking Newcastle, man. Do you know that, Lewis? They fucking talk like this, man.
That is ridiculous. That is not the way they talk.
Lewis, they talk like... No, they're fucking talking that Irish now.
That's not Irish either.
How are you, pet? Bring up a Newcastle Geordie accent. Put it in, man. How are you, man? Put in Newcastle accent.
Newcastle accent. I want to hear it. Let's see how close Michael Bisping is.
Get the dog, call it Bisping, and send me a picture so I can show my fans.
Actually, Bisping's not a bad name for a dog.
Bisping's cool as fuck.
It's a cool name for a dog right there.
Yeah. Just bring up the Geordie accent.
Whatever, let's see.
Geordie.
There we go, Geordie dialect.
Yeah, and then play a video. Let's hear it. How are you, man?
Geordie. Aye, indeed I am. Now, we mother, it's me old doll. Maybe me old girl. We'll call her mother-in-law, or even me mum. It's father or da. At times me old man. Do you understand, Henny? As best as you can. We love the old time. The river, you know. We love 32. The ones made by Ma.
He's a dickhead. Go to another one. He's a dickhead. That is not correct. He's like, I think that's a non-Geordie trying to be a Geordie. Just go to...
Here's How to Talk Geordie. There's a tutorial on it. How to Talk Geordie.
Yeah, well, exactly. I knew it. Because you know what? He didn't sound like a fucking Geordie, man. Yeah, I sound more Geordie than he does. All right?
Go ahead, Shannon.
I'm here today with my friend Sean, who is a Geordie man.
Hello.
As you can tell, I live not far from Newcastle. Now, I can't really do a Geordie accent. You've seen me try it before.
Yeah.
It doesn't really work. So Sean is here today to teach me, or to test me, on my Geordie knowledge.
Alright, are you coming out the meet?
I'll reach. Are you coming out tonight? No, coming out. What was
Are
it?
you coming out tonight?
Are you coming out tonight? Coming out tonight.
Out tonight?
I'll reach you. Coming out tonight.
Are you coming out tonight?
I'll reach you. Coming out tonight.
Again, this is just like Ross Pearson, UFC fighter. He's a legit Geordie. Well, I think he's from Middlesbrough. Same place, same thing, same accent. But whatever. Are you coming out tonight? How are you, Pat? All right. Should we crack on with a question, man?
You know what you have to do? Here's the way you do a Geordie accent. Purse your lips into... Imagine you're trying to create an asshole out of your mouth.
I knew it would have to go down some kind of sexual lane.
And then do a British accent. You do a British accent, and then you're doing a Geordie accent.
Are you coming out tonight, Pat? How are you, man? How are you? Listen, Lewis, we got to crack on with the fucking questions now, man. All right, it keeps going into... A-Rest, so it does. Right, what's the question? Laura, get in the dog, call it Bisping. Question
Boom.
was...
So, Laura, you got to get the dog. We mentioned it on the show. Done. Number 2, what do you miss most about the UK?
I say this all the time. My go-to is the sense of humor. The sense of humor. Anyone that listens to this, I think I've got a pretty good sense of humor. But it is lost out here in Southern California. It goes straight over people's heads. You know, they have no idea what I'm saying. I'm very sarcastic. Most of the time, I'm having a laugh. And, it is lost on them completely. So the sense of humor, I do miss. Obviously, friends and family. Also, the countryside. Britain is a very, very green place. And when I get to England and I get on a train, I go back up north to see my family. I sit on the train and I look out, and it makes me proud to be English. You know, the rolling green countryside. Rivers, the forests, everything. Yeah, I miss all that. Of course, there's parts of America like that, and I'm yet to explore this beautiful country of America. But I'm down here in Orange County for the most part, which is a very, very different climate. You know, it's very dry, very arid, obviously. It's sunny every day of the year and never rains. So there you go. But, yeah, I miss the countryside. I miss the wilderness. I miss friends and family. I miss a really good fucking chippy, man, as well. A chippy tea and a Friday, Lewis. I miss a chippy tea.
Some gravy chippers outside.
Chippy tea. No, because you guys, you do fish and chips, but like takeaways called a chippy. So there you go.
There you go. I do love some
makes
fish
you
and
fat,
chips.
man. That will get you fat pretty quick. First time, me and my wife, when we bought a house, it was this old house, and it needed a lot of work. And I'm full of enthusiasm, but I had no money. First thing I did, we get the keys, we buy it. First thing I did, rip that kitchen out. It's a shithole. Ripped it out, full of enthusiasm. And then had no kitchen for about 6 months, maybe even longer, maybe even a year. I don't know what I thought I was doing. It was a shitty kitchen, but it was still an operational kitchen, but I ripped it out. Then after that, we couldn't cook for a long time. So we lived off pizzas, kebabs, and chippy. And get fat, we did, like proper fat bastards. So, yeah.
I used to love fish and chips, and then I started doing research. I didn't do research. I just ended up on a YouTube journey once. And they use a lot of, like, bottom-dwelling fish, like cod or catfish. And those fish get worms, so it'll fuck you up, dude. You can just look up like live worms in fish at like the supermarket, and they're like worms.
Cod is generally the one that they use. They should do, but I know cod isn't too good for it.
Pull up worms
I think
cod.
Tilapia is the worst fish that you can eat. That is just not good for you at all.
Yeah, we're gonna pull this up. This is worms in cod. Oh God, pull it up for Bisping. This is brutal.
Oh, show me that.
So and I have trouble eating fish and chips every time now because of this.
Okay,
all right.
Here is
What is that?
Fairway Market product I bought today.
All right, so that's a piece of fish inside a bag, and she bought it
from a supermarket.
Showing the receipt. What is that?
Look at the worms moving.
Pull it off. See them.
Yeah. Okay. So she's found a worm in a fish.
Look.
Shape's definitely a worm.
Yeah, which is gross. But, just because you buy one piece of fish doesn't mean that every piece of fish is like that, Lewis.
I think it's
you know
a lot.
I mean?
There's a
that
lot of
might
videos.
Be a shitty contaminated piece of fish. Maybe it wasn't kept in a freezer. Maybe, it's contaminated. It's got a fucking worm on it. I don't know too much about the fish industry, but I'm going to say that not every piece of fish that goes into a piece of fish for fish and chips has worms living
I think a lot of them do.
That would be my guess.
I'm going to look that up right now.
We'll look it up.
I think a lot more than you think do, and there's a lot of videos. Oh,
right.
Roundworms and fish. I can't even, dude. Simply here's what happens: when you cook the fish, it kills the worms. But it's still just weirdly gross.
Yeah,
to
but
me.
still,
There's
the
something about it.
thought that there's worms in the fish. Generally, as a rule, I try not to eat anything that has worms in it.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
But that's just me. You know.
All right. I don't have any more questions that are good. The only other question I have that's even slightly good is really inappropriate, so I'm not even going to ask it.
Go on, just say it and let's have a listen.
All right. You're not going to
And
answer.
who's it from? Shame them. Shame.
All right. It's from
Shame.
Maria.
Shame. Let's get Yola Romero to call in again because that was just
I would
awesome
love
on
to.
the radio show.
This is Maria from Balit in the Philippines. It's a female
So it's from
the
a woman.
Philippines. Very rare. So I love the podcast and have been a big fan of Mike since my husband is from Newcastle. Introduced me to
Hello,
UFC.
Pat.
So we were actually at the forum when Mike won the belt. We were driving along the Vegas Strip and couldn't believe it 4 days before the event when we saw Mike's picture advertised instead of Weidman's. What a week that was. Anyway, my question from the Philippines is that recently there have been many gay female fighters appearing on the UFC scene, but I'm yet to hear of any gay male fighters. Masvidal and Rockhold aside, what other gay male fighters are in the UFC? And surely Mike has a story to tell. Love to hear back from you both. Maria.
Maria. That's a good question. It's a fair question. I don't see what's so inappropriate about that.
Well, because she's telling you to out.
You can't have a nice adult discussion about it, about a gay possible fire without it turning into, innuendos.
Well, I'm protecting you.
Sexual
Because
innuendo and double entendres, and your mind being in the gutter.
you can't. Here's what's going to happen. You're going to say something that you regret. You're going to be like, all right, fine. I
No, I'm
saw
not.
Dominic
No, I'm not.
Cruz
I'm gonna say
sucking
right
Uriah
now,
Faber's cock one time. And then you're
no.
going to tell me delete it. And I'm not going to have to. We're not going to do it. Anything you say on the show from now on is staying on the show.
Well, for the most part, yes. But I'll tell you right now, if I say something really bad, you can go fuck yourself because it needs deleting. But this isn't going to be one of those times. Well, maybe it is. I think that...
Just stop. Don't say if you think
No,
there's a
but
gay
I-
fighter that's not gay. That's not out.
There is no gay fighters that I don't know. Not that I know of. I feel like, well, of course I don't feel. The facts are there is many gay female fighters. There's many, we just talked about the main event coming up, Amanda Nunes versus Raquel Pennington. What do you make of that, Lewis?
I don't know. I don't think that there was an out gay fighter for a little while. I think
There was?
look that up, Shannon. There was a guy who got pretty high level and he came out and he got a little bit of ridicule, but not really. I think that people are also fairly self-conscious in this industry. It is the entertainment industry in today's day and age, 2018, to publicly shame somebody. I'm sure there's more snickering behind closed doors, like in the gym or whatever. But publicly, people won't really do that. Not if they want to have a job at a high level with the UFC or Bellator. They're not going to be able to do that.
Well, absolutely. I think in any walk of life in this day and age, if you were to do that, number one, you're a moron. You can make a joke like me and you frequently do. We have a laugh for the sake of being a bit controversial, or just we take the low hanging fruit and we make a stupid joke. But sometimes stupid jokes are funny. But that doesn't mean that that's how we feel. And anyone that does have these bigoted views in this day and age, they're not going to go far and they are going to be held back professionally and personally. They're going to encounter problems constantly. Gay male fighters in the UFC, none that I know of, as you say. And I quote, Masvidal and Rockhold aside. But I as I quote, that was in the question. But no, I don't know.
Mark
There's certainly a few
Diakese.
that I suspect.
All right, this is all right. Mark Diakese, Bone Crusher.
Yeah, I know it. I know Mark.
He posed for a gay magazine, but he's not gay, is he?
Oh, yeah, that's right. No, he did. Yeah, no, he posed for a gay magazine. Do you know what? To be honest, I think I was in a gay magazine as well.
Where are you now?
Back in the early days, yeah. Like prior to being in the UFC, they took a picture of me and it was in a fucking gay magazine, And listen, the boy looks good. What can I tell you, Lewis? You know what I mean? I like to moisturize. I dress well. And they thought to stick me in there. What can I tell you? Not offended, not bothered. Yeah, Mark Diakese, I did see that recently. Mark Diakese did a piece for a gay magazine. More power to him. Good for him.
Yeah, so he's not gay. He just posed for this magazine.
No,
and good
no,
for
he's
him.
not gay, no.
Look, dude, I live in New York City. You live in L.A. Being gay isn't even taboo anymore. Being gay
No.
isn't like I have so many gay friends, and so I have trans friends. I have friends that are just like
I had
from
dinner Saturday night with a very good transgender friend of mine.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, Saturday night. Yeah. Come on, this day and age.
So who gives a shit? But here's the other thing. You mentioned it before.
But you know what?
We make these jokes.
Sorry, go on.
Well, we make these jokes, and it's like, well, what do you want me to say? Like, I'm actually legitimately friends with people that are gay, legitimately friends with people that are trans. When I'm friends with somebody, I do things that friends do for each other. We if they needed help or if somebody was fucking with them, like, I'm the first guy that would be there to do that, right? So it's like, At what point do you go, like, who cares about people making jokes and kind of saying words that you're not supposed to say when it comes down to meat and potatoes, the way we treat people in our lives? Like, I'm the furthest thing from homophobic or anti-gay or anti-trans.
100%. No, absolutely no, and I know that for a fact. Yeah, agreed.
There was
I think
a guy.
We have come to the end. What?
Oh, do you remember the guy that was on The Ultimate Fighter named Dakota Cochran?
No.
He was in gay porn, dude. Check this out. This is back in the day.
Oh, no way.
Swear to God, Dakota Cochran. I don't want to show it. I mean, we can technically show it. We're on Gas Digital.
Yeah, don't show it. Don't show it.
So he did. Here's what he did.
Listen. This podcast has a bad enough reputation as it is, and as I just said, I'm very forward-thinking, and it is the year 2018. But I don't want it to be known as, when you were showing gay porn on your podcast.
Which time?
Not that there's anything wrong with that,
Yeah.
but it is pornographic, whether it's male, whether it's straight, whatever it is.
Well, this guy wasn't
Unless
gay.
it's two lesbians, and then feel free to put it on, Lewis.
What he did was, when he was younger, he would do gay for pay porn to make some cash because he was broke. And his chick would be in the room with him, and she would like fluff him, and then he would go and have sex with a guy, and then he'd take a break, and she would it was fucking crazy. And he came out, and this was a thing, and he ended up getting all the way to the Ultimate Fighter. He got on the Ultimate Fighter. I think he won a fight on the Ultimate Fighter even. That's a tough pill to swallow, dude. That's a real, no pun intended.
No, swallow being the opposite word, but
I found one gay fighter, not in the UFC though. Shad Smith.
Yeah, Shad Smith. That's right. That was the openly gay fighter. He's a bad motherfucker too.
Yeah, his name was the American Badass.
The American Badass, Shad Smith.
Not intended.
But it was American bad, ass.
Oh, dear. I think on that note, we'll call it a day, shall we?
Yeah, we shall. All right. Thanks so much for listening.
We're tiptoeing very dangerously into controversial waters here. That, I know, I'm joking. Well, that was a nice discussion. Ladies and gentlemen, until next week.
Let's see.
Ordi.
There we go. Geordie dialect.
Yeah, and then play a video and let's hear it. How are you, man?
Geordie. Indeed I am. Now, we mother, it's me old doll. Maybe me old girl. We'll call her mother-in-law or even me mum. It's father or dad. At times me old man. Do you understand, Henny? As best as you can. We love the old time. The river, you know. We love 32. The ones made by Ma.
He's a dickhead. Go to another one. He's a dickhead. That is not correct. He's like, I think that's a non-Geordie trying to be a Geordie. Just go to...
Here's How to Talk Geordie. There's a tutorial on it. How to Talk Geordie.
Yeah, well, exactly. I knew it. Because you know what? He didn't sound like a fucking Geordie, man. Yeah, I sound more Geordie than he does. All right?
Go ahead, Shannon.
Here today with my friend Sean, who is a Geordie man.
Hello.
As you can tell, I live not far from Newcastle. Now, I can't really do a Geordie accent. You've seen me try before.
Yeah.
It doesn't really work. So Sean is here today to teach me, or to test me, on my Geordie knowledge.
Right, are you coming out there with the meat?
I'll read. Are you coming out tonight? No, coming out. What was it?
Coming out tonight?
Are you coming out the meat?
Coming out the neat.
Out the neat?
Coming out tonight.
I'll read you. Coming out the neat.
Out the neat?
I'll read you. Coming out the neat.
Again, this is just like Ross Pearson, UFC fighter. He's a legit Geordie. Well, I think he's from Middlesbrough. Same place, same thing, same accent. But whatever. Are you coming out tonight? How are you, Pat? All right. Should we crack on with the question, man?
You know what you have to do? Here's the way you do a Geordie accent. Purse your lips into... Imagine you're trying to create an asshole out of your mouth.
I knew it would have to go down some kind of sexual lane.
And then do a British accent. You do a British accent, and then you're doing a Geordie accent.
Are you coming out tonight, Pat? How are you, man? How are you? Listen, Lewis, we got to crack on with the fucking questions now, man. All right, going into... A-Rest, so it does. Right, what's the question? Laura, get in the dog, call it Bisping. Question
Boom.
was...
So, Laura, you got to get the dog. We mentioned it on the show. Done. Number 2, what do you miss most about the UK?
I say this all the time. My go-to is the sense of humor. the sense of humor. Anyone that listens to this, I think I've got a pretty good sense of humor, but it is lost out here in Southern California. It goes straight over people's heads. You know, they have no idea what I'm saying. I'm very sarcastic. Most of the time, I'm having a laugh. And, it is lost on them completely. So the sense of humor, I do miss. Obviously, friends and family. Also, the countryside. Britain is a very, very green place. And when I get to England and I get on a train, I go back up north to see my family. I sit on the train and I look out, and it makes me proud to be English. You know, the rolling green countryside, rivers, the forests, everything. Yeah, I miss all that. Of course, there's parts of America like that, and I'm yet to explore this beautiful country of America. But I'm down here in Orange County for the most part, which is a very, very different climate. You know, it's very dry, very arid, obviously. It's sunny every day of the year and never rains. So there you go. But yeah, I miss the countryside. I miss the wilderness. I miss friends and family. I miss a really good fucking chippy, man, as well. A chippy tea on a Friday, Lewis. I miss a chippy tea.
Some gravy chippers outside.
Chippy tea. No, because you guys, you do fish and chips. But like takeaways, called a chippy. So there you go.
There you go. I do love some
makes
fish
you
and
fat,
chips.
man. That will get you fat pretty quick. First time, me and my wife, when we bought a house, it was this old house, and it needed a lot of work. And I'm full of enthusiasm, but I had no money. First thing I did, we get the keys, we buy it. First thing I did, rip that kitchen out. It's a shithole. Ripped it out, full of enthusiasm. And then had no kitchen for about 6 months, maybe even longer, maybe even a year. I don't know what I thought I was doing. It was a shitty kitchen, but it was still an operational kitchen. But I ripped it out. Then after that, we couldn't cook for a long time. So we lived off pizzas, kebabs, and chippy. And get fat, we did, like proper fat bastards. So yeah,
I used to love fish and chips, and then I started doing research. I didn't do research. I just ended up on a YouTube journey once, and they use a lot of like bottom-dwelling fish, like cod or catfish. And those fish get worms, so it'll fuck you up, dude. You can just look up like live worms in fish at like the supermarket, and they're like worms.
Cod is generally the one that they use. They should do, but I know cod isn't too good for it.
Pull up worms in cod.
I think tilapia is the worst fish that you can eat. That is just not good for you at all.
Yeah, we're gonna pull this up. This is worms in cod. Oh God, pull it up for Bisping. This is brutal.
Oh, show me that.
So and I have trouble eating fish and chips every time now because of this.
Okay,
all right.
Here is
What is that?
Fairway Market product I bought today.
All right, so that's a piece of fish inside a bag, and she bought it
from a supermarket.
Showing the receipt. What is that?
Look at the worms moving.
Pull it off.
Yeah. Okay. So she's found a worm in a fish.
Look.
It's definitely a worm.
Yeah, which is gross. But just because you buy one piece of fish doesn't mean that every piece of fish is like that, Lewis.
I think it's
you know
a
what
lot.
I mean?
There's a
That
lot
just
of
might
videos.
be a shitty contaminated piece of fish. Maybe it wasn't kept in a freezer. Maybe it was. It's contaminated. It's got a fucking worm on it. I don't know too much about the fish industry, but I'm gonna say that not every piece of fish that goes into a piece of fish for fish and chips has worms.
I think a lot of them do.
That would be my guess.
I'm gonna look that up right now.
We'll look it up.
I think a lot more than you think do, and there's a lot of videos. Oh,
right.
Roundworms and fish. I can't even, dude. So here's what happens when you cook the fish, it kills the worms, but it's still just weirdly gross.
Yeah, but still, the thought that there's worms in the fish. Generally, as a rule, I try not to eat anything that has worms in it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's just me.
Right. I don't have any more questions that are good. The only other question I have that's even slightly good is really inappropriate, so I'm not even going to ask it.
Go on, just say it and let's have a listen.
All right. You're not going to answer.
And who's it from? Shame them? Shame.
All right, it's from
Shame.
Maria.
Shame. Let's get Yola Romero to call in again, because that was just awesome on the radio show.
This is Maria from Balit in the Philippines. It's a female
So it's from
the
a
Philippines. Woman. Very rare. So I love the podcast and have been a big fan of Mike since my husband is from Newcastle. Introduced me to the UFC.
Pet.
So we were actually at the forum when Mike won the belt. We were driving along the Vegas Strip and couldn't believe it 4 days before the event when we saw Mike's picture advertised instead of Weidman's. What a week that was. Anyway, my question from the Philippines is that recently there have been many gay female fighters appearing on the UFC scene, but I'm yet to hear of any gay male fighters. Masvidal and Rockhold aside, what other gay male fighters are in the UFC? And surely Mike has a story to tell. Love to hear back from you both. Maria.
Maria. That's a good question. It's a fair question. I don't see what's so inappropriate about that.
Well, because she's telling you to out.
You can't have a nice adult discussion about a gay possible fire without it turning into innuendos.
Well, I'm protecting you.
Sexual innuendo and double entendres. And your mind being in the gutter.
You can't. Here's what's going to happen. You're going to say something that you regret. You're going to be like, all right, fine. I saw Dominic Cruz sucking Uriah Faber's cock one time. And then you're going to tell me delete it, and I'm not going to have to. We're not going to do it. Anything you say on the show from now on is staying on the show.
Well, for the most part, yes. But I'll tell you right now, if I say something really bad, you can go fuck yourself because it needs deleting. But this isn't going to be one of those times. Well, maybe it is. I think that.
Just stop. Don't say if you think there's a gay fighter that's not gay. That's not out.
There is no gay fighters that I don't know. Not that I know of. I feel like, well, of course I don't feel. The facts are there is many gay female fighters. There's many, we just talked about the main event coming up, Amanda Nunes versus Raquel Pennington. What do you make of that, Lewis?
I don't know. I don't think that there was an out gay fighter for a little while. I think there
was.
Look that up, Shannon. There was a guy who got pretty high level and he came out and he got a little bit of ridicule, but not really. I think that people are also fairly self-conscious in this industry. It is the entertainment industry in today's day and age, 2018, to publicly shame somebody. I'm sure there's more snickering behind closed doors, like in the gym or whatever. But publicly, people won't really do that. Not if they want to have a job at a high level with the UFC or Bellator. They're not going to be able to do that.
Well, absolutely. I think in any walk of life in this day and age, if you were to do that, number one, you're a moron. You can make a joke like me and you frequently do. We have a laugh for the sake of being a bit controversial or just we take the low-hanging fruit and we make a stupid joke. But sometimes stupid jokes are funny, but that doesn't mean that's how we feel. And anyone that does have these bigoted views in this day and age, they're not going to go far and they are going to be held back professionally and personally. They're going to encounter problems constantly. Gay male fighters in the UFC, none that I know of, as you say, and I quote, Masvidal and Rockhold aside, but I as I quote, that was in the question. But no, I don't know.
Mark Diakese,
that I suspect.
All right, this is all right. Mark Diakese, Bone Crusher.
Yeah, I know it. I know Mark.
He posed for a gay magazine, but he's not gay, is he?
Oh, yeah, that's right. No, he did. Yeah, no, he posed for a gay magazine. Do you know what? To be honest, I think I was in a gay magazine as well.
Were you now?
Back in the early days, yeah. Like prior to being in the UFC, they took a picture of me and it was in a fucking gay magazine, And listen, the boy looks good. What can I tell you, Lewis? You know what I mean? I like to moisturize. I dress well. And they thought to stick me in there. What can I tell you? Not offended, not bothered. Yeah, Mark Diakese, I did see that recently. Mark Diakese did a piece for a gay magazine. More power to him. Good for him.
Yeah, so he's not gay. He just posed for this magazine.
No,
good for him.
Not gay, no.
Look, dude, I live in New York City. You live in L.A. Being gay isn't even taboo anymore. Being gay isn't like I have so many gay friends, and so I have trans friends. I have friends that are just like.
I did a Saturday night with a very good transgender friend of mine.
Yeah. Yeah,
Saturday night. Yeah. Come on, this day and age.
So who gives a shit? But here's the other thing. You mentioned it before.
But you know what?
We make these jokes.
Sorry, go on.
Well, we make these jokes, and it's like, well, what do you want me to say? Like, I'm actually legitimately friends with people that are gay, legitimately friends with people that are trans. When I'm friends with somebody, I do things that friends do for each other. We if they needed help or if somebody was fucking with them, like I'm the first guy that would be there to do that, right? So it's like, At what point do you go like, who cares about people making jokes and kind of saying words that you're not supposed to say when it comes down to meat and potatoes, the way we treat people in our lives? Like I'm the furthest thing from homophobic or anti-gay or anti-trans.
100%. No, absolutely no, and I know that for a fact. Yeah, agreed.
There was
a
guy.
We have come to the end. What?
Oh, do you remember the guy that was on The Ultimate Fighter named Dakota Cochran?
No.
He was in gay porn, dude. Check this out. This is back in the day.
Oh, no way.
Swear to God, Dakota Cochran. I don't want to show it. I mean, we can technically show it. We're on Gas Digital.
Yeah, don't show it.
So he did. Here's what he did.
Listen. This podcast has a bad enough reputation as it is, and as I just said, I'm very forward-thinking, and it is the year 2018. But I don't want it to be known as, when you were showing gay porn on your podcast. You know,
Which time?
not that there's anything wrong with that,
Yeah.
but it is pornographic.
Well,
Whether
look-
it's male, whether it's straight, you know, whatever it is.
Well, this guy wasn't
Unless it's
gay.
two lesbians, and then feel free to put it on, Lewis.
What he did was when he was younger, you know, he would do gay for pay porn to make some cash because he was broke. And his chick would be in the room with him and she would like fluff him. And then he would go and have sex with a guy and then he'd take a break and she would like, it was fucking crazy. And he came out and this was a thing and he ended up getting all the way to the Ultimate Fighter. He got on the Ultimate Fighter. I think he won a fight on the Ultimate Fighter even. That's a tough pill to swallow, dude. That's a real, no pun intended.
No, swallow being the operative word, but
I found one gay fighter, not in the UFC though. Shad Smith.
Yeah, Shad Smith. That's right. That was the openly gay fighter. He's a bad motherfucker too.
His name was the American Badass.
The American Badass, Shad Smith.
not intended.
But it was American bad,
sore
comma, ass.
Oh dear. Well, I think on that note we'll call it a day, shall we?
Yeah, we shall. All right. Thanks so much for listening.
We're tiptoeing very dangerously into controversial waters here. That I know. I'm joking. Well, that was a nice discussion, ladies and gentlemen. Until next week.
He was in
What
gay
about-
porn, dude. Check this out. This is back in the day.
Oh, no way.
Swear to God, Dakota Cochran. I don't want to show it. I mean, we can technically show it. We're on Gas Digital.
Yeah, don't show it. Don't show it.
So he did. Here's what he did.
Listen. This podcast has a bad enough reputation as it is, and as I just said, I'm very forward thinking, and it is the year 2018. But I don't want it to be known as, when you were showing gay porn on your podcast. You know,
Which time?
not that there's anything wrong with that,
Yeah.
but it is pornographic.
Well,
Whether
look-
it's male, whether it's straight, you know, whatever it is.
Well, this guy wasn't
Unless it's
gay.
two
What he-
lesbians, and then feel free to put it on, Lewis.
What he did was when he was younger, you know, he would do gay for pay porn to make some cash because he was broke. And his chick would be in the room with him and she would like fluff him and then he would go and have sex with a guy and then he'd take a break and she would like, it was fucking crazy. And he came out and this was a thing and he ended up getting all the way to the Ultimate Fighter. He got on the Ultimate Fighter. I think he won a fight on the Ultimate Fighter even. That's a tough pill to swallow, dude. That's a real, no pun intended.
No, swallow being the operative word, but
I found one gay fighter, not in the UFC though. Shad Smith.
Yeah, Shad Smith. That's right. That was the openly gay fighter. He's a bad motherfucker too.
His name was the American Badass.
The American Badass, Shad Smith.
not intended.
But it was American bad,
sore
comma,
ass.
ass.
Oh dear. Well, I think on that note we'll call it a day, shall we?
Yeah, we shall. All right. Thanks so much for listening.
We're tiptoeing very dangerously into controversial waters here. That I know. I'm joking. Well, that was a nice discussion, ladies and gentlemen. Until next week. We're tiptoeing very dangerously into controversial waters here. That I know. I'm joking. Well, that was a nice discussion, ladies and gentlemen. Until next week.